Hello and welcome to the One About Podcast show where three friends get together to talk about a different topic each week. This week we're finally tackling another video game and man, is it a doozy. This is the one about Shadow of the Colossus. I'm your host Dean. I also go by Endless Cole in places around the internet, and I am joined this week as always by Jordan and John. What's going on this week, guys?
What's up? Birds say hi.
Birds say hi.
You
I
like
wonder
our
if the
shit?
birds will even be in the final cut of the show. Sometimes when I apply the noise gate filters, they just get edited out right
That's fucked up, dude. The birds. This is like their anniversary tour right now. It's almost been a year since they've been back on the podcast. Honestly,
away. Honestly, I think they've only appeared in a final cut of the show once or twice.
God damn it, Dean! You're cutting the stars out, and you know it. You know it too.
John, everybody knows that you're the star of this show, man.
Don't fucking lie to me to butter me up. I'm already out here in the freezing fucking cold for you. It's fine. I love you, and you know this.
Ooh, Moe's sounds great today. They just sent me one of those digital coupons. I'm like, man, a burrito sounds real fucking good.
Dude, oh, I want to go to what's it called?
I don't know.
Cafe
as long as you
Rio?
don't say Chipotle, we're good.
No, Chipotle is hot garbage, and I would rather shit in a
man.
pie tin than eat Chipotle. Like, swear to God. Cafe Rio blows Chipotle out of the water in every way, shape, and form. It's fucking delicious. When you come down to California, I'm taking you there. I'm taking.
Appreciate that, dude. Generally speaking, Chipotle. Here's my thing about Chipotle. People like Jordan over here like to argue that their ingredients are higher quality and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, all right, even if I can see that their ingredients are even much higher quality than the competitors, which I don't know if that's the case, but let's just say that it is. The flavor profile kind of sucks, and all their food ends up tasting really generic and whatever. And I would rather take low quality ingredients that taste better over high quality ingredients that taste like bland.
Spoken like a true communist.
Really? All right, no.
Get them, boys.
Actually, this is what I'm gonna.
Bring it on,
this is how
bitch.
I'm just gonna shut down this whole argument, and my sister is gonna help. So I used to frequent Panda Express when it was at the Long Beach Town Center up the street, and
Your argument is already slipping.
anyways, no, I'm about to just shut this whole thing down. So like I'm minding my own fucking business in my room eating Panda Express. My sister opens the door and is like, "Ew, what are you eating?" I was like, "Panda Express is fucking delicious. What's your problem?" I was like, "Do you even know if that's meat?" I was like, "I don't care. It's delicious. Like, I don't know what you're talking about." And then she goes like, "Well, I'm gonna get Chipotle." And this was at the time when Chipotle had a salmonella issue. I was like, "So you'd rather get salmonella than eat delicious food?" That's what I just heard from you.
Yeah. That sounds like a Chipotle eater for sure.
Right? It's just like Chipotle is delicious, so I'm gonna get salmonella instead of like
Chipotle.
I mean, I wasn't.
Chipotle's like
I wasn't
a
running
cult.
out. I wasn't running out to get Chipotle when they had salmonella. Like, let's be real here. Like,
Chipotle and
but
Chick-fil-A are like fucking cults, dude. They're not that great.
They
but
really are.
I almost feel like Chipotle is like people's first like Tex-Mex burrito bar experience, and they just can't unhinge themselves from that.
I think Moe's was my first, actually.
And you went to the dark
Because
side?
I ate Moe's for years, man, because they didn't have a Chipotle or a Qdoba where I grew up. So it was Moe's for like a good, like Moe's dominated my palate for a good 5 years at least before I ever entered a Chipotle and was saved by the Lord's good grace. So
Stop.
This is exactly what I'm talking about.
Fucking shit.
No, like if I'm driving around and I'm like, I want a burrito that's bigger than my head, or I want like a nice like rice salad bowl that has like some Tex-Mex in it. I have 3 options near me currently. I have Chipotle, Moe's, and I have Qdoba. I think people sleep on Qdoba hardcore. People sleep on that place.
I agree with that.
because that is the closest one to me, and they are actually very, very good, very delicious, and they keep their menu really, really unique and different. Like they because they're third tier, they try harder than the rest. So they end up hitting those highs more frequently than the others, but they just don't have the franchise power that a Chipotle or a Moe's has. And I'll be honest, Moe's is the farthest place away from me, so I will always default to Chipotle if I have to get that. And it's been a minute since I've been into Moe's, so I don't have a perfect, like, I'm not in a great situation to tell you between all three, like, objectively what I think is better, but I can tell you that when I switched to Moe's to Chipotle, I didn't cry over it. I thought it was definitely better. Chipotle queso is shit. I don't know why they committed on that, but I mean, for what I get, and I don't usually get burritos. I usually get their bowls. So I get like their, cilantro lime rice. I get a lot of extra lettuce. I load that shit up with pinto beans, beef, peppers, onions, but like an ass load of cheese and cilantro, a little bit of sour cream, guacamole. I'm getting Chipotle for lunch now, but it's good. And
dude,
it's good stuff, And
I will tell you this.
I like Moe's menu is better. Like the Moe's not better. Moe's menu is funner because it's got like Joey Bag of Donuts. It's got the home wrecker. Like it's a fun menu. But
so here's the thing. Moe's has more options. That's just an objective fact that they have more options.
It is, yeah.
And I think Chipotle has all of the like foundational options that you would expect any place to have, and really nothing else. And that's fine. I mean, if you're going to build your brand on having super high quality ingredients and only having those foundational pieces, you can end up like Papa John's in 20 years, and that's fine. Hopefully their CEO doesn't fuck up the same way, but I mean,
bro, the point is rich as hell.
I mean, yeah, I'm not saying from a business. What I'm actually saying is the opposite. That from a business perspective, it's a great plan. It clearly works. People in general and people like you buy into it completely, right? But what I'm saying is, for people like me, I appreciate having the option to throw wacky shit in there. Like today, I'm gonna throw hot sauce, bacon, and black olives in my shit just because I can.
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons I've like Five Guys and Fries is slept on by a lot of people. It's like, dude, you can literally make whatever fucking burger that you can imagine.
And all you think they're slept on? Free.
Yeah, honestly, Five Guys burgers and fries compared to like everybody who comes to the West Coast like starts jacking off at the thought of In-N-Out. I was like, go to Five Guys burgers.
I don't think there's any.
Get you a better burger.
I've never been to an In-N-Out, but what I know of In-N-Out, like it's a completely different category. Like In-N-Out's not gourmet burgers. Like Five Guys is gourmet fucking burgers. Like there's no comparison there. You order a burger at Five Guys and they give you 2 patties.
In-N-Out is cheap.
I'm still gonna try
bullshit burgers. I mean, try it.
Fine.
Like,
yeah.
I would never tell somebody to not try it. You should be informed about what you do and don't like to eat. But I'm just telling you, like, as somebody who lived in SoCal for 20 some odd years, like, it's whatever, dude. Like, I don't understand the hype around In-N-Out.
I mean,
I did just get Shake Shack recently, and
dude, Shake Shack
place is incredible.
What? Oh God, we need to change the topic right now.
I think we've talked about this before.
This is gonna delve real quick because I have personal qualms with Shake Shack.
I hate Shake Shack too. But anyway, what have you guys been up to this week?
My God, wrong.
That was perfect.
I have been working and playing this game. Just beating it. even though I beat it last minute.
Whoa,
Like
we don't need to
literally
hear
like
about that, man.
1:30
Keep
last
that shit
night.
to yourself.
That's disgusting. You
Jesus
animal.
Christ, Jordan.
Oh,
I didn't know
Keep it
Chipotle
PG
eaters
for the
were
love
like
of
that.
God.
I am too. Wow. I didn't even understand what I was talking about when I said that. And I'm sorry that I subjected you to that.
Phrasing.
Went right over my head. That's pretty much it. Work and beating it.
God damn it, Jordan.
Make that a soundbite.
The game.
Thank
The
you,
game,
and
of
good
course.
night. Yes.
The game, of
yes.
course.
Yes. Excellent. Yes. Saving grace. Oh my god. For me, I've basically been playing Shadow of the Colossus heavily to the point that the boys are like drooling over. Is like, oh, is that a new game? I was like, dude, it's like, I know you're not gonna. I know you're not gonna like playing this game. Like, no, but I've noticed like I don't know if it's thing with like just guys or kids or a combination of the two, but anything new, like they start foaming at the mouth and just I need to try it.
Sounds like a kid thing.
I don't know, because like when I will admit when I get some new tech, I'm all over it, like all over it. But like,
Oh my god.
yes,
I'm
that
so
is.
proud of you, Dean.
Oh,
I'm so
Jesus
proud of
Christ. That is one
That's
of
exactly
the
what
best
I thought
uses of that GIF. Yeah. This is one of my favorite ones. Anyways, no, I've been playing that and almost and about to platinum trophy Demon Souls and get the
Damn.
penetrator armor in the same playthrough. Like I'm super excited. Like I'm super hyped. Like I was up at 5:30 this morning because all I need to do is kill 3 more demons. And I would be able to get the penetrator armor. But the flame lurker right now is shoving his red hot fiery penis up my butt every time I try and kill him. So
Whoa.
that's fun.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Ooh,
John is
baby.
Yeah, you've been hard on that game since for about 2 months now, right? Since PS5 came out, at least.
Honestly, longer than that. It's because there was like a good month or so where I literally was just sitting on souls because I didn't want to level so I could play with other people. But they took too long and I lost like over 1 million souls doing that. So I said, "Fuck 'em."
Okay, then.
Like,
What about you, Dean?
yeah.
Well, other than playing this game over and over and over and over and over again, mostly I've been watching some movies this week.
Ooh.
And I was flipping through HBO Max and they had American Pie on there, 1 and 2, not Wedding for some reason.
Okay.
And I was like, you know what? I haven't seen this movie in a hot minute. Let me just flick this on and see what happens. And man, that age that movie ages like a fine milk. But
it's so true.
It really does. I love that movie when I was a teen, though.
I still kind of do, but I think it's mostly from nostalgia.
Yeah. I'm gonna get you a spoon so you can eat my ass.
Shit break. So there's 2 things that stood out to me when I was watching that movie, though. The first is that it's an interesting delve into what it was like for people our age and a bit older growing up, and like what the culture was like in high school and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because man, that shit is never coming back.
Yeah.
But also, it's a movie about high school kids, and all the actors are like believably aged. It's not like Spider-Man where we got like 30, 40-year-olds that are supposed to be high school kids. Like these are actually high school kids. And I was really impressed by that, which honestly should be a condemnation of Hollywood, but nevertheless, I was still like, it's pretty good, man. I appreciate that.
What's do you remember the redhead actor's name, the chick from Bandcamp?
Oh, no, but I can find out for you real quick. Allison Hannigan.
Yeah, incredibly underrated actress.
Honestly, the only thing I can
everything
think
she's
of
in.
her from is American Pie, and she's the host of that Penn and Teller show.
Yeah, so she's also Buffy the Vampire Slayer, The Witch, and one of the first outright lesbian couples on. I think was it on. I don't think it was on television. It might have been, but like it basically made really huge strides for the LGBTQ community. Think I did that right? Probably didn't. I'm sorry. Also, her on How I Met Your Mother saved that show from a lot of lulls. Like her, she's just really good and incredibly underrated in a lot of the shows and movies that she's in.
You're right about that, dude. I totally forgot about How I Met Your Mother, but that show, first of all, just as an aside, that show is fucking great.
It is until the final season, but yeah,
fuck that, dude. The final season's great. You're crazy. We're not getting into it, but bro,
Okay.
the whole show's great.
It's great.
We don't have time to go into it.
Yeah. Neil Patrick Harris hit his fucking stride in that bitch.
Yeah, he did.
God damn.
I almost feel bad because like he kind of fell off the map after that. Like I don't.
Yeah, he did. He couldn't ride the waves of stardom, and like on top of the fact, a lot of people while watching that show, and then also his appearance in Harold and Kumar movies, like forgot that he's outwardly gay.
Yeah, dude. I remember when I found that out, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. Like you look up Neil Patrick Harris's picture of his husband and their two sons, and I'm just like, oh, did not know that.
He's also like an accomplished magician, which is kind of cool.
Oh yeah, that's why they were doing the magic in that show. Yeah, he's an accomplished magician, and like, what's that place where you have to be a member to invite people or go?
I want to call it the
Hogwarts?
Magic Castle, which is close.
No. Shut up. Yeah, it's close. It's something Magic Castle. That on top of he was also, I believe he did Broadway.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Oh, it is the Magic Castle. I was right.
Yeah. Also, as a segue into that, Taye Diggs also did Broadway and is also underrated. It just makes me sad.
Anyway.
Yep.
Before we go on even a longer tangent,
no problem.
I also watched Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2.
Ooh, those are good. Those are good.
I like the first one.
So I remember liking the first one too.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much this time. Not so much. It's a very campy movie, and I forgot that. I was not prepared for that level of camp.
Really?
Dude.
I still remember the ads and stuff about that movie.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a really fantastic, scary, creepy movie in there somewhere, and it's just covered up by, when you hear this song, something bad's gonna happen. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. But
really, I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen it, so
they really
streaming now on HBO.
I wouldn't be surprised if.
Oh,
I don't watch horror movies unless it's like near Halloween time. Like I just don't go out of my way to watch them.
Watch Jeepers Creepers for Halloween.
You know what you should do is like rewatch a whole bunch of old school like 90s and 80s trailers and how they try to hype the shit out of the movie. Like
this summer.
Oh God.
I know what you did last summer.
Have you guys watched the movie or heard of the movie Virtuosity?
Nope.
No.
Denzel Washington, Russell Crowe. So basically, the synopsis of the movie is Russell Crowe is a computer-generated program that is an amalgamation of, I think it was like 133 serial killers
This is
that
so
was
90s.
This sounds
brought
terrible.
yeah, that was brought into the real world. I don't
Love
know how. And Denzel Washington's like a disgraced cop, who's the only one who's set to take him out because Russell Crowe's character meticulously murdered his wife and daughter.
Bro, I don't. So I was thinking in my head, like, this almost. It reminded me for a second of Little Nicky for some reason.
What?
And then I realized the reason that reminded me of Little Nicky is that Netflix keeps harassing me to come back and resubscribe. And one of the emails that they sent me was like, "Hey, you remember when you were watching Little Nicky on us?" I was like, "Wait, hold on.
Oh,
This is your
that's
pitch?
creepy.
Oh my
This
God.
is your
real
pitch?
creepy.
What the fuck, dude? Like, if you're gonna be,
You know they're not
if you're,
picking from the top of the fucking crop,
dude,
if they're gonna throw it like that.
I was like, if you're gonna creep on my watch history to try and get me to come back, you better pull out something better than Little fucking Nicky."
Yep. Oh god. Because they're probably trying to choose a show or movie that's not available anywhere else, unless you have to like shell out actual money to own it. So like they're just like going there. Oh no, they could do that on Hulu. Oh no, they could do that on HBO Max. Ah, Little Nicky, we only got that one.
Yeah.
Fucking terrible, dude.
Speaking of that, is that where you lay your flag on that?
Speaking of
Little
fucking terrible, Jeepers Creepers 2 is a real piece of shit, man.
Oh yeah. Wow. I stopped watching after that, and there's a 3 if I remember correctly.
Not only is there a 3, they're working on a 4.
Yeah. That's pretty sad.
Well, I mean, this shit still makes money well after it's dead.
Yeah, you want to know what horror series that I miss is it called? I think it's called the Phantasms.
No, I'm not done talking about how bad Jeepers Creepers 2 is. Fuck that shit. So,
oh my god,
okay.
This movie starts out,
yes,
with all these jocks on a bus heading back after winning the state championship. Great, cool.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I'm watching this movie. I'm like, why are half of them not wearing a shirt?
Because they're jocks, bro.
Okay. All right. I'll just.
Someone's never been in sports.
Yeah. No, okay. I'll just roll with that. Sure. We're just gonna casually. You know what? School sanctioned event. They got teachers and shit. You know it's fine. It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna let that go. Oh shit! Our bus broke down. Well, it's time for the entire football team to go take a piss at once in a straight line and check out each other's junk and measure dick sizes the whole time.
Oh, all right. That's
And this shit goes on for 2 hours. I'm like, what the fuck am I watching, dude? And then come to find out, the writer-director for these Jeepers Creepers movies was convicted of having child pornography and sexually abusing an underage kid on one of his sets.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, oh, this all came into focus real quick.
Yeah. Like everybody's on sets like questioning like the scene. It's like, no, it totally drives the movie. It's the heart and soul of the plot. It must be in there.
These shirtless teenagers are the heart and soul of this film.
You don't understand. This is my magnum opus. It's going to be the Batman Forever of horror films. And nobody
Sir, I was
questioned
able to
it.
find. It's like, sir, I was able to find 10 local boys. No, we need a full football team over 40.
It's like none of them even have scripted lines. It's just like just do grunty noises and keep your shirt off. You'll be fine.
The direction just says stand and grunt.
I love the idea that like somebody on set was like, oh, I get it. We're going to appeal to teenage hormones. So we're going to have like the chicks in bikinis, right? No. Full prude clothing. The cheerleaders are all Mormons.
Oh my god, they're all nuns. Oh man. Oh god. So I just linked you guys probably two of my favorite horror series growing up. Especially the second one. Like, if you've watched any of those movies, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That shit is hot.
I never have.
Dude,
Hot.
I would love next year during Spooktober to watch that first
Phantasms?
yeah, Phantasm. There's a million of them.
Oh,
But it's
god,
just it's the weirdest fucking movie
It's
that has
so
it
weird.
goes off the rails in the last 5 minutes.
It really does. Oh man. Like, Phantasms is just super weird. It's just like, I remember I randomly clicked on it late at night, and I'm just like, what the fuck is that silver? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Gentlemen.
But, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, let the birds finish. Let them talk.
The real stars of the show.
They added really nice ambiance, I'll be honest
They
with you.
kinda
I
do.
really enjoy hearing
They
them.
actually kind of do.
Like, sorry if you're listening to this, but hearing it is really soothing. I'm convinced that there are no birds in Central Florida, and if there are birds, they're just government drones at this point.
They probably are. Like, all the real birds were eaten by your iguana problem.
Maybe.
No idea what you're talking about.
Really? All the fucking reptiles in that fucking swamp ass place?
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Jordan's
Yeah,
like,
we got
I don't
those.
personally have an iguana problem. What are you talking about?
I mean, there's not an iguana problem here, but like down, like further south. Oh yeah, those fuckers are everywhere.
You live in a big state, buddy.
Yeah, I tend to forget that, but yeah, there's a bunch of bitch ass iguanas down south.
Miami is
Oh
like
my
another
God.
country altogether.
Basically.
It's so different. It's so different than the rest of the state.
It really is. It really is. Gentlemen, we
Yep.
played a video game this week.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did this month, but I think all of us just kind of played it this week mostly.
Well, I knew
it was a month-long project.
I can't speak to you guys, but I knew that I could beat this in like a day. Y'all just
straight up.
procrastinate a lot.
No, I did not procrastinate because I started playing it and I'm just like, I got through the first like 3 or 4 and I'm just like, okay, this bitch is just gonna keep ordering me around and just running with my dick in my hand and just killing these things for him. And I'm just like, yeah, I can beat this pretty quickly. And then I was like, crunch time. I was like, oh shit.
I for sure procrastinated.
I know you did. You had a month and a half,
For sure.
and it took you till the day before.
For sure. Like proudly procrastinated here.
So good. So good.
But that kind of also fuels my salt, and we'll get into it a little bit.
So, released on October 18th, 2005 for the PlayStation 2, developed by Team Eco and supported by Japan Studio, Shadow of the Colossus is considered by many to be one of the greatest games of all time.
Really?
What did you guys think?
I've heard people say that.
Really? I mean, I've heard whispers, but never where they came at me and like, if you haven't played this game, you're a shit gamer and you haven't experienced true perfection yet.
Oh,
that's been my experience too. Like people hold it in high acclaim, but I've never had anyone be like, oh, you're a gamer? Name every Colossi. Like no one's ever.
No
one's come at me like they don't have real names. Got them.
Oh God! Don't do that. But it was totally apt for you to do that in that whole situation. But
thank you.
I'm giving credit to your acting chops. But the game itself, like, it's straightforward, but I can see why people hold it in such high esteem because even though it's such a straightforward gameplay, there's so much like nuance, and just the world is just fucking gorgeous. Like thinking about making a game that's technically only like 16 bosses on the first playthrough, so vast and gorgeous, just to be like, oh, I'm just running through this motherfucking place to go to my next objective, is a masterstroke. It was. I had a fun time riding on that shitty horse.
Oh man.
And that's like straight up, that's one of my biggest fucking gripes with the game. Is that horse is shit. I cannot get that horse to gallop to save my life. I was trotting all through that motherfucker.
John.
Yeah, I'll definitely talk about that.
John. All you gotta do is hold triangle, man.
Wait, you have to hold. Fuck. All right, bye guys. Well, done.
Oh my! You're kidding, dude.
I'm
you're
dead
kidding,
serious.
right?
I was tapping it,
Bro.
I was tapping
it. Me?
I'm not kidding you
Why
at all.
are you tapping it?
The whole playthrough, I'm just thinking, it's like all I gotta do. Oh no!
It even moves itself over bridges if you don't even touch the control stick. It just goes by itself.
No, fuck you. Like, I legit... The only thing it said in the help menu was, like, press triangle to make them go faster. I was like, okay, I press triangle. What the fuck, guy? What the... Come on,
I'll
man.
give you that. The directions... It doesn't explain shit, really.
It doesn't say, hold it to make it go faster or, like, keep up the speed. It just says press triangle. Because I'm used to Zelda Breath of the Wild. Homeboy got carrots, and I just slap the horse's ass for each carrot, and it goes faster. And then it stays at like a medium speed if you don't. This horse, I'm just like, come on. This is probably going to explain the tier list when we get to that.
I'm suspecting a couple now. But Jordan, what did you think of the game, man?
I thought it was beautiful, and it's really cool playing this game. You said it came out in 2005?
Yes, sir.
So many games that I've played after this one's release has pulled a lot of influence, just visually, especially the camera angles.
Yeah.
I mean, Ghost of Tsushima directly rips off the cinematic, like lower right, lower left quadrant character camera angles when going through like large open areas. I mean, that is a 100% direct ripoff from this game. And it's beautiful, and it's a relatively easy game. I played it on normal. I would have normally played it on hard, but I just kind of wanted to get through it. I did get through it in exactly a little like a minute or two over 7 hours. Oh. So one of the shortest games I've played in a while.
Wow, that's actually...
I usually find myself
a significantly longer playthrough than I had. That's interesting.
Well, I mean, yeah, but you're running through these Colossi in time attack mode. Like some of these kind of took me a minute to figure them out and to
you have to beat the game normally before you can even try time attack mode. But I mean, we'll talk about that in a second. So
all right, cool. Fuck me. Whatever.
No.
At least you weren't trotting through the vast world the whole time.
If did you beat it in less than 7 hours with your trotting ass?
Actually, I clocked in about like 8:02.
Okay.
Jesus.
So that an extra hour of trotting.
That makes sense to me. But I do want to ask you about that, but I'm going to let you finish first.
Also, something else that Ghost and I think Breath of the Wild did slightly was the guiding hawks. I loved that.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah. It's not obvious. It is not like Ghost of Tsushima where they basically like stay on you and tell you exactly where to go. Mm-hmm. But there will occasionally be a hawk that will kind of push you in the right direction, and if you follow it, then you'll go in that right way. I only ever got lost like once or twice, where like the Colossus that I had to get to was behind an area that I thought that I was supposed to be in.
When you went to the wooded grotto, that one.
Oh my god! Yes.
Yeah. Everybody gets lost there.
Yeah.
That's why I knew that.
Absolutely. So that was one of them. But it's slightly guides your hand. It's very subtle, but it is there. But yeah,
like,
it was
super
fantastic.
subtle.
I loved the puzzles that were each of the Colossus. I loved them all until the very end, and then I didn't love them.
Believe me, we're gonna talk about
Yeah.
Malice. Don't even worry about it.
I didn't even, until you said that, Jordan, I didn't even notice it. But like, it's like one of those like aha moments, like you're watching a movie Memento, and then all of the pieces line up. I was like, oh shit. I was wondering what
Yeah.
those hawks were. Like, literally a couple of times I whipped out my bow and arrow and tried to shoot the hawk. I was like, am I supposed to murder that?
Fuck, you were helping me.
You're such a gamer,
exactly.
dude. There's
It's
something
like,
there.
Such a
Kill
gamer.
it. Kill it.
I was like,
I have unlimited arrows.
I've seen you like 30 times. Am I supposed to murder you? I feel like I'm supposed to murder you. Let me try murdering you.
Yeah. My name is Wander, and I can shoot unlimited arrows that never arc down, that go straight forever.
Yeah, dude. I was like, physics?
Yeah, that's my that's my overall beautiful game. It's an 8 out of 10 for me. It would be, I would hold it in such higher acclaim if I was playing it in 2005, because in 2005 there was nothing else that was this ambitious. Because
even close, yeah.
If you told someone like I don't know how they got this game published and passed, but like imagine that meeting, like, oh, so what's the menu system going to look like? Oh, we don't have menus. Okay, well, how do you level up your character? No, there's no levels. Okay, well, do you have to find arrows or no, unlimited arrows. Your sword never breaks. There's no new equipment. There's no cosmetics at all. Every time you kill a Colossus, we're going to bring you right back to the beginning, and you're going to rinse and repeat every single time. And the majority of your game is going to be playing and riding a horse through beautiful terrain. All right, let's do it. Stamp. Let's ship it.
So
like, that's a hard sell.
That's
a hard sell.
I will tell you this. This game didn't get made in a vacuum. It was originally conceived to be a sequel to Ico, which was their first game, also co-developed with Japan Studio.
Something else I missed.
Which, by the way, if you guys or anybody in the audience doesn't know this, Japan Studio is a studio wholly owned and operated by Sony, and a big chunk of what they do is internally foster teams like Team Ico to make PlayStation games. And so when I say that Japan Studio helped develop this game, I don't mean that they were in the trenches like writing code for this fucking game, really, but they do support and QA and help them publish and all that kind of shit. Anyway, point is, they already made Ico with Team Ico, and is it Ico or Eco? I can never remember. Doesn't matter. And so
we know what you're talking about,
right?
Yeah.
So they had that relationship, and they kind of came to them with this idea of making a sequel to that game, which turned into maybe a spiritual successor at best.
Yeah, because there's a lot of nods, especially with the items. Like after the first playthrough, the items that you get are a lot of nods to that universe.
Well,
I didn't get any of those items.
We will get into this in a bit, but the ending in a lot of people's minds makes this game a prequel to Ico, as it turns out.
Oh, yeah. That makes a lot of sense now that you put it that way.
That's what I thought too.
So, anyway, all that to say that this game would have been less difficult to sell than you might imagine because of that.
Yeah.
I mean, it really feels like a tech demo for PlayStation 2. Like,
yeah.
Like here's what the PS2 can do. You can fight, 16 giants, and
like here's how you use the R2 button, like all these jump buttons, and then like look at the graphics on the PS2 while you're riding through this bitch.
Feel the experience of holding L2 for an hour.
Dude, my thumb hurt because I was like trying to get the best stab every time with Square. I was like, I was listening to him. I was like, is that the highest pitch that he can get? No, let's not stab yet.
So
Wait,
I want to mention
okay.
that we played the PS4 version of this game,
Mm-hmm.
and I mentioned that because I want to ask you guys: did you use the modern control scheme or the original control scheme?
Whatever the default was.
Yeah, that's basically what I used.
Okay.
I
didn't know that
I
there
didn't.
was.
I didn't touch it at all.
Okay, I assumed that that was the case, but I don't know. Like some.
What's the difference?
Oh shit!
Oh
What's the
God.
difference? Wow. Well,
Let's do it.
the biggest difference is that in the original game, jump is mapped to triangle.
What? No, that's real. No, I don't like it already.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, attack is the same button.
Okay.
Let me think. I have to think about this for a second. So triangle is jump, circle is your action button,
Mm-hmm.
X is to call the horse and giddy up, square is attack, R1 is to grab,
Mm,
L1
that
is
doesn't
to
feel
view the
nice.
Colossus, L2 is camera reset, R2 is zoom. You had to hit R1 and triangle to dodge roll.
Oh,
Oh wow.
that would suck.
I think
I mean,
that's
all
it.
that just sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah,
It
it's fucking
does,
awful.
especially the jump. Especially
Yeah.
the jump. Like most gamers that I know, especially with platforms, like they're naturally inclined. Like the bottom button is jump.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even back then that was true.
Yeah, that would fuck me up.
Although I will say that in Breath of the Wild, triangle would be jump.
Oh my god, I flipped that so quick. Like my first, like I don't know if I told you, but my first playthrough of Breath of the Wild, like I was halfway through the game. I was like, wait, I can switch this button. Oh my god,
Yeah.
everything is better now. I I won't die anymore. That was a lie. I always died. Always.
So yeah, I just wanted to ask because I assumed that you guys didn't go through the pain of the original
Hell no.
control scheme, but
Did you, knowing you would probably set your controller to the original controls just to get more of a feeling of what it was like when it was originally
no,
released.
fuck that, dude.
But-
I did play it when it originally came out. I'm not going back to that shit. I hated that shit 15 years ago. I still hate it today.
Okay. Excellent.
Dean, did you play this when it first came out?
Yes.
Are you on that? Are you in the camp of this is one of the greatest games ever made?
No.
Okay.
And for one simple reason, because like kind of like you were saying, the world is beautiful. It's way more vast than you would expect for a PS2 game. Like,
Yeah.
you might suspect, oh, they made the world bigger because now it's on PS4 and no, they didn't. It's exactly the
That's
same.
how big it was in PS2. Yeah.
The size
it could be
of this
that
game is
large
fucking
because-
preposterous.
Yeah.
How did they handle loads?
The same way
Oh,
they do in
there's
this
an
game. It's all the
there's
same.
an incredible amount of pop in.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't see grass until you're 30 feet away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's also nothing in the world. There's like all that memory and processing is literally just textures for
Yeah.
there's no like the only thing
Wildlife or
moving is the
anything like
occasional
that.
bird. Yeah, like the only thing moving is the occasional bird and then you and aggro.
And like a couple of lizards here and there.
But even that
One
like,
time. I think I saw one lizard in the same spot every time.
But even that, like those things don't pop in until they have to.
Yeah.
Like those
sure.
hawks don't exist until you're close enough for them to spawn and then come at you. So I think you kind of already answered this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Did you guys collect any of the lizards or the fruit?
No, I did not.
Nope.
Because I know I did research after the first playthrough, and I was like, I can do a little bit here and there. But then I'm just like, why is this an achievement? And then like thinking about through the first playthrough, I was like, oh yeah, I didn't see none of that shit riding around except once or twice.
You know what's funny about that? There's a lizard in the temple that you start the game in, and where all the Colossus statues are, and there's a fruit tree like 30 feet in front of it.
So stupid. Because you don't think about that, because like you got this asshole just saying, "Who your next foe is." Yeah. And then you just run off and go and kill it.
It's funny because the game is designed in such a way that, like, first of all, it doesn't tell you anything. Like, why would you ever think to just randomly eat fruit off a tree? Like, you're just going to be wandering around like, you know what happens if I shoot that pineapple with an arrow? Yeah. There's not really any reason to think about doing that. And by that same token, there's not really any good reason for you to look at the ceiling of the temple and be like, oh, what's that glowing spot up there? Let me shoot that.
What the fuck?
So, really? I don't blame you guys for not doing that. I was just curious if you stumbled across it and figured that out.
Yeah, especially since, like, there's no real need for, like, healing items. Like, you don't get any healing items or anything like that. Shit, in your first playthrough, you don't get any extra weapons or anything whatsoever.
Correct.
Like, you're basically Dorman's errand boy, bitch. Wait, nope, errand bitch boy. There we go. That's it.
Did you guys feel like you wanted things like that, like healing items, or?
Honestly, no. The simplicity of it is what gave it a cleaner and more enjoyable playthrough, in my opinion. Because, like, I do like doing research and, like, making sure I'm set up correctly for the next fight coming up, and, like, oh, how could I do it better? Or how could I do more damage and this, that. But, like, just this playthrough, I'm just like, nah, I just want to go out and just, like, murder some huge, giant beasts and not really have to think that hard about it, other than how to murder them. That's fine.
I mean, my playtime would have been 3 times as long if they had any even slight RPG elements in this, because I just can't help myself.
Yeah.
Like, I would have to collect. Man. I would have to do it. Like, if you told me collecting lizards was going to increase my stamina, I don't know. I probably would have done that. Or like if there was like some cosmetics maybe or whatever. But there was, like John mentioned, a beautiful simplicity to the game, and you don't realize how forgiving it is that it teleports you back to the freaking the shrine every time, shrine of worship. Like, that is a godsend. Like, just starting from, like, imagine having to, once you beat the Colossus, to then go back to the shrine. Fuck that. That would have been another 3 hours at least on my game time.
And I would have cussed out Dorman my whole ride. It's like, I just killed the
trotting
Colossus
all the way back.
And it's like, and then as soon as you get there, thy next foe is. I'm like, for real? I just got. Can I have a second? My horse is about to pass out.
Is he? Because he's just kind of casually galloping around the world.
Fucking shit, dude. I really.
All right.
Also, worth noting that aggro is a she.
I'll say it now. For a fucking horse named Aggro, he wasn't aggroing shit. that Colossus was beamed on me every time. He never took any hits, until the end. But
no, that's a resilient ass horse.
I will tell you,
and it's a tall ass horse too. Those legs are freaking. He's his own Colossus.
Legs go all the way to the ground.
Ganon's horse,
right?
God. Fuck, dude. I still can't. Like, my whole thing about the ending is just, like, after everything's said and done, and, like, you know, the wish is fulfilled, and then you just see this motherfucker just trotting in there slowly. Hey, what's up?
Oh, my God. I want to come back to that in a minute. Not right now, but I do want to come back to that.
That's fine. Oh,
God.
So, I thought... I was convinced that this voice actor, that voice Wander, was the same voice actor from that did Link in and Twilight Princess. I was convinced of that, but none of my Google searching could confirm it, because his grunts and stuff sound just
perfectly
like
matched.
Link.
Yeah,
Sounds
the
just
boys,
like Link.
The boys, when they were watching me play, is like, oh, that sounds like Link, and I was like, you know what, you guys are no, actually, you're right.
It really did. It sounded a lot like Twilight Princess Link.
So,
Yeah.
in talking about the big open world and the beautiful simplicity of everything, and especially your comment on how long it would take to go back if it didn't automatically teleport you from the Colossi back to the temple, I want to throw this little tidbit of information at you. There's 16 Colossi in the final game. Originally, the game was planned to have 48.
No? For why?
Seemed
It
like
would
a
have
good
been
idea at the
a
time.
lot of.
That seems real stupid.
Wow.
I don't like it. No.
48.
No. Especially since, like, after you kill one Colossi, you can't teleport to it, or, like, there's no fast travel whatsoever. That's terrible. That is a terrible idea. No one should have done that.
Now,
I'm glad they scrapped that for 16.
Now, they did develop more than 16. There are at least 9 that were made and not used for different reasons, and an additional 7 or 8 that they data mined out of the game that would have been in, but was not.
If they lived in the world of DLC additions that we do now, they probably would have got up to 48.
It would have been interesting if in the PS4 remake they had added some of these back, but I'm really glad they didn't. just because, like, I think that a lot of the love that this game gets is because they don't do shit like that. I think it would really ruin the spirit of the game.
Definitely.
But that's just me.
I agree with you 100%, because, like, I remember having a cursory look at this game, and, like, in my head when I first started playing, I was like, there's 14. I remember 14. And then, like, I started counting the statues as halfway through. I was like, nah, it's 16. And I was just like, that seems like a good number. Because, like, I feel if you hit, like, 20 or more, I would have been burnt out. You know what I mean?
I liked this idea. So, one of them, Sirius, is one that you would have had to have ride like aggro to catch up with, and and kill.
Mm-hmm.
This probably would have been a cool one.
Okay.
Like chasing it down with aggro, because it's another small one. Because not all the Colossus were huge, right? Two of them were actually pretty small, and this would have been another small one that you would have had to like chase with your horse and get like on the side of it and jump to its back, and that would have been pretty unique, I think.
Yeah,
The other ones,
I think they
just
said
look
that
fucking weird.
Sirius specifically was going to be one of the ones that they actually put in the game, but they just couldn't make the combat in that particular fight work to their satisfaction, which is a really interesting comment given what we're going to talk about in a little bit. But before we get there, kind of to John's comment about how 16 just kind of feels right. What's interesting to me about that is the end of the game, we find out that the 16 colossi are housing 16 fragments of the soul, the spirit of Dorman.
Mm-hmm.
This disembodied voice that Wander is talking to try and revive Mono for reasons that we're not entirely clear on.
Not even close.
Yeah, they don't explain shit. I mean,
Like,
your intro to this game is riding on that huge bridge, which, by the way, that giant bridge would A, never work, and B, is one of the largest structures I've actually ever seen in a video game. Like it truly is awe-inspiring when you're standing on the side of the shrine of worship, looking down at how big that bridge actually is being rendered. It's extremely impressive. It really is.
Dude, when you climb up to the top of the temple and run across that bridge, it takes more than 7 minutes to get from one end to the other. It's one of the most disgustingly grueling runs I've ever done.
Did you have to do that for one of the collectibles?
Yeah, one of the gold coins is at the other end.
Of course. Oh my god, of course. It's like they finished the game and they're like, what are some random areas that we can just pop some gold coins in? Like there's like, oh, we're gonna put one here and here, and this will be cool over here.
I mean, there's 79 of them, and like
I only found them by accident, like 3 or 4 of them by accident.
Yeah, me too.
Where did you?
I will say the gold coins were an addition for the PS4.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what I was about to ask. That's what I was about to ask.
So yeah, like you could get up there in the original game, and there was just nothing there. And there wasn't even trophies like there is now, so you literally got nothing for going all the way over there.
Just
wow,
feeding into your curiosity, basically.
Oh yeah.
But to circle back to what I was getting at before, Dorman is actually Nimrod backwards. And Nimrod in the Bible was King Nimrod, who was whose body was cut up and scattered into 16 pieces, which I think is really interesting. I wonder if that was always going to be the case, or they came up with that after they settled on 16.
Probably after. Yeah.
It's so on point, though.
I know.
It makes me feel like a nerd because I thought your Nimrod comment was gonna segue into Nimrod Sentinel from the X-Men, but it's fine.
Yeah, definitely. X-Men, huge influence. Huge influence.
Big X-Men fans over there.
Oh my god.
So, I think that this would be as good a place as any to talk about what we set up before we started the show today. Our top 5 Colossus.
My god. Alright. So once again, let me reiterate. My top 5 is the top 5 most annoying Colossi that I had to deal with, and I will explain the reasons why.
So number 1 is going to be the most annoying?
Number 1 is going to be the most annoying.
Okay.
Why don't you start at 5 then and work down to 1?
Alright, I'll start at 5 because let's see. So number 5 was Phalanx. Sure.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it was just because
I bet that would be really fucking annoying if you didn't know how to make aggro run.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you're right.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That one and Dirge would be a fucking nightmare.
Dude. So surprisingly enough, Dirge is number 2. But I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, Phalanx was a shit show because, again, I didn't know how to make that goddamn horse run. I mean, because it's easy enough to set up, to get to it and then climb on it. And then it's just annoying that you have to do it, 3 times.
Yeah, a forced 3 times.
Yes,
because it dives
3 times.
Yeah.
Number 4 is Malice for obvious reasons. He's he was
kind of high.
Yeah, it's just because I wasn't good at rolling, and his roll was kind of jarring for me. It wasn't smooth. You do a crap roll, and then you stutter step afterwards, so you're stuck in that that frame. I'm pretty sure the frame count for that shit is 1,000. I'm just estimating here, but if you don't time that roll right, you get fucked pretty hard.
We'll come back to Malice. Don't worry. I'm sure.
Yeah, we will.
Number 3, for that reason that I just explained, is Koromori. Koromori. It's basically, you know the one I'm talking about, the one that's in that cave. Yeah, Koromori, that one. That one in the cave that looks like a dinosaur.
A croc. I thought it was like a croc.
Kuramori is like the easiest Colossus in the entire game.
Yeah, fuck you. No, it's not. Because like for one, I would get shot. Like first of all, I didn't think I'd need the horse for any of the Colossus fights when I first started. So like as I got to him, I was like, I just hopped off the horse. I was like, I'm about to fuck this asshole up. And it's like, no, I was just getting shot trying to run, and I was like, why the fuck? I can't hit him. I don't see any of his sigils.
Yeah, you can't even bring aggro in there.
Yeah,
so,
and then
hold on, we're talking about the one that climbs up on the walls and like shoots fire at you, right?
Nope. We're talking about the one that's in the cave next to the molten lava geyser fields.
You're talking about where is he? Where's my list? You're talking about
I know what you're talking about. Okay.
Molten lava geyser.
You're talking about the turtle, about the
the turtle one.
Yes, you're talking about
which one?
Why can't I do the way I laid this out? I'm such an idiot. There we go, Bossaron.
Yes.
Yeah, that's that guy. Very different. I was so confused, dude. I was like,
another one that would suck.
So easy.
Yeah. Bossaron sucks if you can't gallop on aggro. I'm seeing a trend here.
Yeah. Oh my god. It was the fucking worst. And then the best part is like I finally got him over the geyser, but I'm so far away from him. I'm just like, no, I can shoot him. And then the geyser falls down, and I'm just like, I just sit there and just accept my death. I'm like, hey, you know what? We can start this over. It's fine.
So on him, that one I had to actually look up. And the reason I had to look up how to beat him was because when Dorman gave you the advice, like Earth can still like shake this Colossus or whatever like that, I thought he was talking about the stalactites that were above him. I thought when he stops down or something, those would come and like hit him or pierce him and like do something to where I could get on top of him. I didn't even fucking think about bringing him out to the geysers. Like that was the last thing on my mind. So I'm getting my ass handed to me in this cave, and I had to look it up after like 20 minutes. I'm like, oh my god, of course. And then after that, oh my god. So if I can take 2 minutes to explain one of the most frustrating things in this game,
go ahead.
Getting on that motherfucker's shell was so hard for me, dude. I kept falling off every time it flipped over because I wasn't hanging on to the exact spot that would require me to then lift myself up to the plateau on his shell. I would always be like one thing below it. And while it's moving, there's no navigating those little like holds or anything. Oh my God, I was getting so pissed off.
Yeah, what's funny is like that's probably the hardest part of the fight, and then like after you like get to the sigil, like you just start murdering.
Oh,
like
it's
easy. It was probably the most cathartic thing that you've ever dealt with.
Fuck this turtle.
You know what's funny about this fight is like I was riding around. I was like, how the fuck do I kill this thing? And I'm like, okay, let me use the sword. I'll find out where its sigil is. Okay, cool. There's not enough light here to use the sword, so I can't do that. And I'm riding in circles, and then finally he just kind of stops, and then the geyser goes off underneath him and starts flipping. I was like, oh
my god,
that's what I gotta do.
Dorman had me overthinking his ass though. Like, that was my problem.
Oh, I ignored
and he was
Dorman.
Doing that weird like wiggle with his legs, and just big ass turtle. It was so funny. Speaking of which, slight segue. Were the Dorman hints in the original game?
Yes.
Okay. Because I'm thinking in my head, I was like, I don't know of any way that I would have solved some of these without a hint
His
in some
fucking
way, shape, or
vague
form.
ass hints too. Like
Yeah.
sometimes they helped, sometimes they were just fucking super vague.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I ignored all of them, so I couldn't say.
So number 2, as I mentioned before, is Dirge. Because for one, I had to make the horse gallop, which again I didn't know how to do. So
How
most
did
of
you
the
even
time,
beat that one?
it like honestly, that was probably the one that took me the second longest to beat. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Dirge?
Because yes, for one, when I first got there, I again hopped off the horse because I'm like, I don't need this bitch, and he just instantly murdered me. And then I was like, maybe if I stand on this rock, no, still murders you. Maybe if I run around, nope, still murders you. And then like Dorman's like, you can't think you can be safe on thy own legs. I was like, oh, I need to use the horse.
Dude, I think my actually no, I want to hear. So after you're on the horse, you're just trotting along and you take him off. Like you found out
Basically,
the
yeah, I trotted, and then like again, Dorman had to give me a hint that's like, oh, aim for the eyes, and I was like, what are you fucking talking about? And then I turn around and he's just looking at me. He's like, what's up, guy? I was like, oh, I'm supposed to shoot him in that. But what sucked is I could only trot, so when I did get it to that like gallop for like 2 or 3 seconds, I was like, okay, I hope he shows his eyes at this point. And then like when I slowed down, it would just close the gap enough to where it would just dive down and do that chomp attack where it jumps up and just murder me. And then the other problem was I needed to remember to actually ride around in a circle instead of a straight line, because if I got too close to the wall, it just resets and like, jumps up at the wall and murders you as well. It took me a long time to kill that snake.
dude. I think my best Colossus time was Dirge.
Fuck you.
It was. I'm sorry, but galloping with aggro, it was immediate with me because he was chasing after you. You're galloping, hit him in the eye. He spins off, smashes his head, then you just whack him and get his actual spot. I think the fastest I ever beat a Colossus was Dirge. I think he was the easiest one for me.
Dirge was really hard for me too, but because like I had tried prior to that to shoot a couple of the Colossi in the eye, and it didn't do shit, so it never even occurred to me that that's what I was supposed to do. So it took me a long time to figure that out.
Well, he like Dirge for me. He had such huge fucking eyes. I was like, I don't know. It just clicked, and I was like, okay, they're obviously trying to tell me something. Shot him in the eye. Boom. Smash his head up against a pillar. Whack the shit out of him. I think I beat Dirge in maybe under 2 minutes.
You can.
Is that possible?
Dirge is what you can do. Definitely the first Colossi that killed me.
It's so I hated that snake with a huge passion.
Yeah, it wouldn't be 2 minutes because the time attack goals are nowhere near that. But it was my fastest Colossus. Dirge has to have been my fastest Colossus.
Dirge. So once you know how to beat Dirge, Dirge is very easy. But yeah,
he's very easy if you know how to gallop, motherfucker.
So are we on your number one?
Yes, we are.
Number one, Celosia. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Good. All right. Why?
So the main reason that this one probably the one that took me the longest is because, for one, it's like Dorman like keeps repeating is like, it's afraid of fire. And I was like, okay, so I try and hop on the braziers. I never grab the ledge. And then there was a good like probably hour where I was stun locked by him in the little temple part, where it's just like, okay, he headbutted me. Okay, I just gotta wait till I get up. He'd wait till I get up, headbutt me again. Oh, he's right on top of me. Bitch slapped me with his claw. Oh my god. I'm just like,
dude,
this is a great opportunity for me to bitch about something really
ass. Right, dude? Celosia, dude. I've never been more fucking angry than when he was corner banging me and I just couldn't. I was like,
you couldn't do anything.
I paused the game. I was like, fuck this, and I just walked away. I can't do this. I'm gonna hurl my controller through this fucking TV.
Exactly, dude. And it's at the perfect. It always would stop at the perfect distance to where if right when you start getting up, it would aggro, and you couldn't do anything.
Yep.
Like nothing.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that, dude. Celosia is definitely the Colossus that I hate the most.
Oh, dude.
So
go ahead.
I don't hate Celosia the most. I think I got lucky. I climbed on top of that pillar where the fire was lit. I saw the animation with the stick that was flicked off. I picked it up. I got back to the pillar, lit it on fire. I pushed it off the wrong ledge at first. I pushed it off of like the trench that you first jump over to get into
trench.
it.
Yeah.
And then after that mistake, I learned that you have to push it off the other way. And then I struggled to actually have it stand still long enough for me to fucking pierce it. It wasn't really that bad, but this is a good segue to the most annoying mechanic in this entire fucking game, which is the nap you take after every hit. You lay there for 30 minutes at least.
You do, dude.
It's so fucking obnoxious, man. It is so bad.
It's so
and you get TKO'd so hard. It's so bad.
It'd be one thing if you just take a hit and then you get right back up and you keep on going, right? But my blood was boiling so bad just having to sit there and smash X, and I know it didn't do anything, but I was smashing the shit out of it. Get the fuck up. Oh my god, it's so frustrating.
It didn't do anything like so many things in this game.
Oh my god.
So frustrating.
And then it's just straight up just pacing back and forth, waiting for your ass to get up. It's like, his hitbox is actually recognizable. Hit him again. On top of, after I got the stick, I'm like, oh yeah, what's up, bitch? Like, I was like super happy. I was like, yeah, fuck you. Yeah, you don't like the stick. I got too close. Slapped the shit.
He does, yeah.
I was like, fuck you. You're supposed to be afraid of fire. You don't lash out at me, you stupid big. Wasn't it like a cat?
Yeah,
warthog,
kind of
lion
combination.
Lion bull.
I wouldn't call it a lion because that's what's the other small one? Is it Cenobia? Cenobia is a lion.
Yeah.
I thought Cenobia was actually a dog. Its name is Cerberus. And
that's a good point.
Celosia's like type is Leo, kind of a bull.
That's a good point.
So I liked the fact that this was the first small Colossus that you encounter, and it was so different from the others. It wasn't just get on big things back and stab it. It was very very different, and I appreciated the kind of break from the pattern at that point. But yes, I mean, fuck taking those power naps after every hit, man.
Oh my god.
He got me too. He didn't trap me like he did both of you, thank God.
Oh, dude,
or I'd probably be in the same position you both of you are, but there was many times where he would hit me, he would walk away, circle back a little bit, I'd just be getting up from my beautiful nap, and then he would smack the shit out of me again. And I just got lucky I didn't get trapped by him.
Oh no! For the fact that he walked away from you is like
that's
night and day for my experience.
I can't. Seriously, I didn't even know his AI was capable of that.
Exactly. He literally stood right on top of you, and
oh my god!
On top of that, it got worse. So after I finally got him off the ledge and exposed his back, right? I jumped down thinking I'm gonna nail this motherfucker on the back and I'm about to stab the shit out of him.
Psych!
I miss it by a frame, like a pixel. And I have to figure out a way to get high enough to jump on top of him while he's chasing me.
Did you know that Wander has a downward stab?
One more time.
Wander has downward stab.
So I'm deleting the game after this conversation.
Yep. Bye.
Straight.
Are you kidding me?
No,
what the fuck? I didn't know that.
Fucking shit, dude.
The only reason that I know that
would have made 4 of these Colossus.
I know. The only reason that I know that is because there's a trophy you get for having the downward stab be the final hit on a Colossus. I was like, wait, he can do a downward stab? What are you talking about?
Dude.
Oh my
like
god.
the 2 tidbits of information I have got from this conversation about the game would have saved me at least 2 hours.
Where
and
was
I'm not
Dorman's
exaggerating
bitch
that
ass?
number at all.
Where was Dorman's dumbass being like, you can like point your sword down when you jump down, right? Like, that's a cool thing to do.
Dorman was probably looking at me
That's a
eating
cool
popcorn and calling me like a fucking bullshit.
That'd be a
Fuck
cool
Dorman.
move,
Talking
bro.
Dorman went out like a bitch.
Yeah, for real. Like, for someone who had to get separated into 16 parts because they were, quote, I'm guessing, so powerful, he got taken out real quick.
Seriously. To the point, like, we'll talk about the end later.
Yeah.
But do you want to, Dean? Do you want to do your list first? Or you want me to go through my list?
Do your list first. I have a feeling mine's going to be a bit contentious.
Okay. So these are my list is my favorite Colossi or Colossus, whatever. Yeah. So I'll start from 5 to 1. So
okay.
Number 5 is Poseidon or Pelgia. That's the one where you were in the lake and you had to get it to stand up on the actual ruins, and you had to jump on its stomach and stab the shit out of it.
Oh no!
Expose its chest to you.
No.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
No. And so, how did you know to hit the teeth on top of it to make it go a certain way? Because I
got lucky. I got so lucky. I was just on top of there, and I'm like, I was on top of its head, and I looked at the stones. I'm like, these stones are so unique. They have to be telling me something. So I just hit him. I hit him with my sword, and then it went that way. And I'm like, okay, well, I kind of guided it around for a while. I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? And then I was like, okay, well, let me just try to jump from its head to the top of one of these temples. And when I did that, it stood up, and then I saw the weak spot. I got very lucky. But then really, this one's not. This one's not number 5 for me because I enjoy the mechanics of the fight. It's number 5 because I love how he looked. I thought
he looks awesome.
Looked incredible, and I thought it was kind of cool that you can semi-control the Colossus while fighting it.
Yeah, because when you think about it, again, that fight, if you had no context whatsoever and have to go off the subtle clues that the game gives you about what you kind of have to do for that fight, I would have been stuck on top of his head for 6 hours. Literally, the first start of the fight, I was like, okay, his sigil's probably on top of his head. I got to his head in probably 15 seconds. 15 seconds, after waiting in the water for 30 minutes.
Just swimming in circles around him.
And then I'm at the top of the head. I was like, where the fuck is the sigil? And then Dorman keeps repeating, it's like, get to a high elevation. I was like, bitch, I'm on top of his head. Where else is higher? And then
I'm as high as I can be.
Yeah, I literally had to look up a playthrough, and I saw him hitting the teeth, and I was like, there is no point before or really after that you have to swing your sword and hit something in this game. How would I have known that?
That's true. Actually, I can't think of another time where you do anything similar to that.
Exactly. There's no point in using your sword other than to stab. You don't swing your sword and hit anything or slice anything throughout the whole game other than that point to make him go the way you want. So that confused me.
So what I'm getting from you guys is that you don't use the targeting system very often.
What's a targeting system?
I didn't always use it. The camera was almost like the other boss because it wasn't perfect. It's not the worst camera I've ever had, but it wasn't doing me any favors usually.
So John,
the camera was always going for cinematic over functional.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. 100%. What I mean is you can use the beam out of your sword that locates the Colossus to tell you where the weak points on the Colossus are.
No, I know that. I've already knew that. But again, I did that, and it's shining on its belly, and then I was on top of it, and I was shining it, and it was going straight through it. I was like, okay, it's not up here. I understand that because when you're close to a sigil and you have your sword out, it automatically lights up. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is like, there's no fucking way that I would just be on top of it and just be like, you know what? I should probably hit these teeth, and it's going to go the way that I hit the teeth.
Sure.
No.
Sure. Yeah,
No.
I mean,
and then
I was fortunate because I remembered how to fight this boss.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was just like, wait, what? So my first try of that boss was like, I was on top of him, jumped off into the lake because I was like, obviously I'm not supposed to be here. So I swam to those high platforms, and I'm like jumping around. I was like, how the fuck am I supposed to get on here? While he's shooting the crap out of me, moving to me slowly.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this whole thing sucks.
So what's number 4, Jordan? Me too,
Sorry,
man.
number 4.
I love number 4.
Number 4. I'd have to say number 4 spot goes to Barba, the actual Minotaur ape that has like the big saggy chin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I did enjoy the Barba fight. I thought it was cool. That was one of the first times you actually go into the desert
Mm-hmm.
and you see the transition. It looks beautiful. You go into the temple ruins and he comes crashing down, and then he's like breaking all the pillars and everything and leading you towards that last mechanic to hide from him. Then his dumbass looks in and you're like, I got your chin.
Yeah.
And then you know, climb around on
climbing
him.
on his beard. That's hilarious.
Yeah. He was annoying. I kept losing stamina because there was nowhere to rest on him, so I kept losing stamina trying to go down to the spot on his back and then going to his arms and shit. Like that was a bitch, but once I got better at it, then it was okay. The fight still, all in all, was really cool, and I thought the Colossus looked awesome.
Yeah, your earlier comment about like, you know, if killing lizards gave you extra stamina, I would have done like lizard genocide if that was the case.
Do you get extra stamina after every Colossus? I felt like that bar grew.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
You get extra health and stamina for killing a Colossus.
It was so goddamn subtle I could barely tell.
I will tell you this though, John, like the amount of stamina that you get from killing lizards is fucking ridiculously small. It's so small that like there are messages upon messages on message boards across the internet. Like, do they actually give you any stamina?
Like they go up to their TV and get out a metric ruler. It's like
magnifying glass and shit. It's like
1 pixel.
That's definitely it increased.
So yeah, I mean they do, but it's not worth the time investment, really.
So no lizard genocide is what you're saying. You don't.
I mean, you could. It's not really worth your time, though. I mean, just put it to you this way: you get substantially more stamina from just killing Colossi. It took me all fucking day to max out my stamina doing it that way.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
All fucking day.
Did you do that before you started doing the time attacks to make your life easier?
You don't get any increases or items in time attack.
Oh. So sorry.
You get nothing in time attack. You get like
you just rolling there naked.
You get what you would have as far as health and stamina if you did nothing but defeat Colossi based on which one you're fighting, and that's it.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I apologize for even saying that.
And then on hard, most of them have additional weak spots that you have to attack.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
That sounds like a fun and a half time.
So, Jordan, what's number 3?
Jesus
Gaius, the sword Colossus.
Really? So
I liked him.
Let me tell you a story about Gaius. The first time that I fought Gaius, I whipped his ass. Like he's the 3rd Colossus. He's not hard.
Yeah.
Once you figure out that you have to get him to attack the little round circle thing in the middle, which, by the way, his AI is programmed in such a way that he will always do that if you're standing on it, which I didn't know. But once you figure that out, it's super easy. Just climb on the sword, climb up him, kill him. It's fine. Turns out that there's a trophy in this game for killing him without breaking that wrist guard.
What?
That trophy is possibly the most frustrating and annoying trophy I've ever attempted in my entire life.
What? How did you accomplish that? Did you have to glitch it with its movement?
No, there's two ways that you can do it. The first is if by some miracle of God in heaven, you can get him to actually attack the ground normally so you can get on the sword, which is basically fucking impossible half the time. I'm not bitter. You can
Wait, you mean while you're on him, right?
No. I mean to get on him in the first fucking place.
Oh, I didn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I was about to say, but go ahead.
When you're trying to break the wrist guard, it's not a fucking problem. When you're trying to avoid that platform, it's very hard. His AI is janky as fuck. It took me, so put it to you this way. It took me probably 20 or so resets of the fight to get him to attack the ground one time so I could try this shit.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Anyway, once that happens, he has that little notch at the end of the sword. You can grab that, theoretically. I never got this to work, but theoretically, you can grab that part, and then when he pulls the sword back up, you let go, and he'll fling you onto his arm above the wrist guard, and you can continue to fight normally. Since that was fucking impossible for me, what I did instead is I grabbed the side of the sword so that when he pulls it up, you jump over to his belt and then immediately jump back to the arm because he moves it in just such a way that you can get over the wrist guard when you jump onto his belt like that. But you have 2 seconds to make that jump before he moves his arm and it's impossible again.
Exactly, yeah. So you basically had to start doing that and getting the timing right and basically go off muscle memory and the will of God is what you're saying.
Yes.
I'm so
The name of that trophy should be Vaya con Dios, because fuck, man. Dude, I can't eat. Other than Celosia, that was by far and away the most mad I've been at this game. And I was way more mad. When I was messaging you guys about how angry I was that one day, this is why. Fuck this boss. Fuck that trophy and fuck this game for it. Dude, I was so mad. I was so mad. And it's not even that it's hard per se. It's that it's so difficult to get the AI to do what you want so that you can even attempt it. That's frustrating.
Yeah.
Anyway, why do you like this boss, Jordan?
Because I'm not trying to get a fucking trophy.
Seems right.
God.
Yeah, I mean, just normally it's a badass boss. It's cool to get the location. It's on like its own pillar and platform in the middle of I think in the middle of a lake. Yeah, you swim over to it, and it's the only one with like a legit sword outside one of the later ones, which has like a bone club kind of.
Yeah.
But it's just cool. I don't know. Like I prefer the large humanoid ones for sure because like climbing on them just feels really awesome and epic. Versus like the smaller ones, but it was just it was a fan favorite for me. I don't know. It was badass. Number 2 for me was Avian.
Oh, okay.
The bird. Yeah, loved that one. I kept getting my ass flung because I wasn't jumping at the right time when it would come down and like you had to jump onto its wing. But that I think was actually the best. I think of the ones that are like flying kind of, that's the best one of that. It was awesome going on the wings. It's an easy one. Like once you get on top of it, it's relatively easy. But it looked awesome. The environment was really cool. Jumping onto its wing while it's coming, it's like swooping down to attack you. Really original idea, and I had a lot of fun with that one. I really did.
Okay, what's number one?
That one was a banger for me. Number one was actually Valis, the very first one.
Oh, okay.
Of course it's so easy, but it looks incredible. I think it's one of the best designs. It's so like original and just amazing looking. And I think that's just like climbing up those steps and then seeing it there and then jumping onto it. And although it is an easier fight, I just had a really good time with that one. And some of the other ones just frustrated the piss out of me for no reason. Honorable mention.
Ooh, okay.
may have to be Argus, the second to last one that you go to the Sentinel one where you had to jump off of the bridge to get on top of them. I loved Argus, but I fucking hated that hand spot.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, dude! It took me so long to figure that out, dude.
Oh my god, I hated that. I hated that with a passion, dude. I hated it so much. That's why he's honorable mention. And John, if you missed it, my second favorite was Avion, the bird that you had to jump on the wing. And my number one is that
it was fun, other than like the fact like I couldn't keep up with it for obvious reasons.
The first few times I was getting fucking batted away and I was messing my jump up. And my number one was the very first Colossus, Valis.
Really?
Yeah, I just loved it. I thought it's so badass. It was a lot of fun. Like it was extremely cinematic. Like it's that shock and awe of the first Colossus fight, like really stuck with me the entire game. And I had just mentioned an honorable mention for me, which was the second to last one, Argus, which is the one that we were just talking about.
Oh, speaking of Valis, there was probably an extra like 30 minutes to my playtime because I didn't have any fucking idea how to get up that cliff.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, I struggled a little bit too.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like,
I would never thought about that.
Yeah, dude, because I didn't see like the vegetation that you could grab onto and like climb up. Because like literally, I was right next to it, and then the little help hint popped up. It was like jump to grab up on things. I was like, oh shit, for real? And I'm literally jumping on everything. I'm not grabbing shit.
Yeah.
This isn't Breath of the Wild.
This is garbage.
Using HDR for this remaster kind of fucked me sometimes because the darks were really dark.
Yeah.
That especially became a problem during Malice. But that one definitely, it took me a little bit to find those finds as well.
So I'm going to run through my top 5 really quick. I think it'll go by fairly quickly, except for number 1, because 2 through 5 we've already talked about. So number 5 for me is Argus. I thought that his design to me, I think, is probably the best of all the Colossi. I just
awesome.
Really like it. And I thought that the way that you fight him, you get him to manipulate the terrain and all that kind of shit. I thought that was very cool.
That took me a bit to figure out too, actually. Like it was a mistake that I figured that out.
It's funny because like that's another one that I just kind of remembered how to do it. Which is fortunate because I totally understand it. Like it's kind of complicated how you get on top of him. So I can't even imagine what it's like to try and figure that out by yourself. But yeah, like getting him to drop the club took me a minute. Because I didn't notice that he had that weak point right there. And even when I did figure that out, I was like, okay, he dropped the club, but so fucking what? It didn't do anything for me. It took me forever to figure out this other thing was on his hand. That was one of those moments where I completely failed to use the targeting system and figure out where that weak point was. So that one took me a while, but I enjoyed basically all of it. So definitely number 5 to Argus. Number 4 is Barba.
Okay.
Also, kind of what you were saying already, but his design is very cool. Jumping into the beard, I thought was hilarious, and
Yeah.
Super funny.
And the way that he like smashes through these aqueducts and shit like that. I just thought the whole fight was pretty cool.
Just nonchalantly, like I like the way Dorman described him. Is like he like basically is like thy next foe loves destruction, but he's no fool. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. How he explained
Takes
that.
a dumb man to let a little idiot jump into your beard and then stab you in the head, but you know, whatever. Number 3 is Avian. I just mirror all of what you said already about it, Jordan. That fight's very, especially when it like tries to get you off and it's hitting corners and flipping over and shit like that.
Yeah,
it's just a cool ass fight. It's also the first fight I think where I really struggled with having enough stamina to not fall off and have to do it all over again. I didn't, but it was close. Number 2,
where you hear that little ding.
Yeah, dude, that's the most stressful fucking beep of my life.
Yeah, it really is.
Number 2 for me is Phalanx. Actually, I don't think that we talked too much about Phalanx at this point, except for John's struggles with it. But I just think it's a really cool fight. It's actually the fight that I remembered the best of all the Colossi from when I first played this game, because I haven't played it since I originally played it on PS2. So it's been a lot of years, and I remembered this fight vividly, but I couldn't remember where it was. So I was really pleased when it finally showed up as the 13th Colossi.
I mean, I liked Phalanx a lot. It was an awesome fight. My only problem was it's a little janky riding aggro and jumping on those fins when they're skimming the sand. That I definitely struggled with to get it right. And I missed a number of times.
You know what's funny about that? The first 2 playthroughs that I did, I had no problem with that whatsoever. But as soon as I had to do it for the time trial and I was under the gun, I fucked it up over and over.
Oh my God.
I was so mad, dude. I was like, why the fuck is this suddenly janky as fuck? I don't understand it and I don't like it.
Yep.
Okay, so that's my bottom 4. If I had to put in an honorable mention, I think it would go to Dirge. I think Dirge is just kind of a cool idea.
Yeah.
And then maybe an additional honorable mention to Gaius, just because the whole sword arm thing is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But number 1, and this is why I said that my list is going to be contentious, because I guarantee you guys are going to give me shit for this one. But my favorite Colossus in the game is Malice.
What the fuck?
Nope.
Why?
Because so there's a couple reasons. One, he's super big and intimidating and cool looking. His design is awesome. And his entire fight is super cinematic. It's this giant buildup after, you have to climb this fucking mountain to get there. Aggro is quote unquote dead now.
That fucking shit. That scene, like when it made it across the ravine, and it's just like, Aggro!
First of all, I got to that bridge and I was like, oh, let me just jump over the. Why didn't you grab it? Listen, you little idiot. Just grab the ledge. Let's cross this bridge and get on with our life. Jump over there. Doesn't grab it. Die. Like, bro. I know you're fucking. One more time. Let's just jump. Aggro, what are you doing? Oh. Okay. Got it. All right. Let's go, man. Aggro! No! My dumb horse! Oh, I hated you for so long, and now I love you.
I fucking hated
I've never been more attached to an animal that I absolutely loathed than I was to Aggro, dude.
At that point,
I was so devastated when he fell into that ravine and, at the time we thought, died. And I was like, why am I so upset? I hated this horse for the last 5 hours.
They really did a good job on that scene.
So putting that emotion into it too, I was like really amped up to fuck this guy up. And yeah, I mean, I think that the fight is cool. Now, I won't begrudge you for your issues with the fight. I have a lot of issues with this fight myself.
Yeah.
But just from a conceptual standpoint, a design standpoint, I think it's all awesome.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Like, it was annoying to me, like, first of all, getting to him for obvious reasons. But, like, after you got to him and, like, manipulating him by, like, shooting him and, like, timing your jumps and, like, basically, like, I'm working my way up to beat this guy's ass, it was actually cool. I'll give it that.
So the cinematics of it, the path to him, aggro, all of that, A plus.
Yep.
A really fantastic ending, like to an already fantastic game.
Mm-hmm.
But he is fucking cheap and broken as piss. He is so goddamn bad. And if you fuck that roll up, or if you even think you can make it to that next stage without going under,
Yeah.
you're getting blasted in the face. And then the second you stand up and take a breath from your nap, you're getting blasted another 20 feet back. I died so much, and it was pissing me off. It was pissing me off so much because there were times where I was like, okay, I'm behind the last piece of cover to jump into this next like little hole and then go throughout the tunnel to pop up elsewhere, right? Well,
Yeah.
I would be diving, I would time it right. I know the hiss, I know what it sounds like, and I would roll into the actual like opening of the next tunnel, and he would like shoot outside the tunnel, and it would blow me out of the tunnel back out onto the ground, and then I would just die like immediately. If I got out into the
You
open,
can't do shit.
I was dead every time. I was just like, please fucking kill me as quick as you can, because I'm tired of just sitting here watching him take these power naps in between these hits. I was getting so fucking pissed off. And it was last night around like 12 o'clock at night. I was already getting a little tired, and I was on a high from the whole game. The whole game, every fight, some of them were a little more annoying than other ones, and they kind of just aggravated me, but none of them necessarily felt cheap. This motherfucker was cheap as hell. Dude, this guy was nothing but cheap shit.
The worst one is the last barrier run that you have to do before you get to the tunnel that leads up between his legs. It fucking not only does it blast you, it blasts you off of that little ledge that you're on into the wall behind you and then back into the ravine. So you have to climb all the way up and get back to where you were after his 45-minute power nap.
Yeah, and then like all right, run perfectly, because you don't want to take any damage up until then. Like, so you better have a perfect run, and then when you get to that last part, it was like I feel like I was behind the barrier sometimes, and I was still getting just blasted into the fucking hole.
Pummeled. I was absolutely behind the barrier and got blasted a couple of times.
Oh my God, I was getting so fucking pissed off. My wife was sleeping next to me on the couch because she just passed out, and I kept waking her up because I was like, "Oh, damn it!" And she was like, "I'm going to the bed." I'm like, "You better go to bed because I'm not done bitching about this moment." And then, is there anything else you guys want to talk about phase 1? Because I got some shit to talk about phase 2 as well. Are we done with phase 1?
The only thing I want to say is that when I first started the fight, I didn't realize that there were tunnels that I could go through. It took me a long time and multiple deaths to figure out what I was even supposed to do. I was like you, dude. I was getting fucking livid. I was like, I cannot make it to that wall. What the fuck, man? What
it's right there. It's like 10 feet.
One time I was like, okay, I got this. I'm going to outsmart this big bitch. I'm going to hide behind this pillar, and then I'm just going to dodge roll over there. And I hide behind the pillar. He blasts it. I come out from the pillar. I dodge roll. He blasts me right in the fucking face. This guy needs to be in the Marines. He's the best sharpshooter I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my god.
Blasts me right in the face, back to the pillar. Blasts me again immediately from the pillar off the ledge to that lower ledge where you start, and then blasted me again into oblivion. I ended up dead right next to aggro. Like, we were just in the ravine, dead as hell.
What was pissing me off was when you jump into those tunnels, like I was just taking damage falling into the tunnels. I'm like, fuck it, I'll take the damage here. Like just diving into them if I made it into them, because it was still cheap as fuck sometimes, because if it lands 30 feet away from you, the wind of the explosion will blast you back to aggro. So
concussive force. Yep.
Oh, and then here's where we come full circle with that whole HDR thing I was talking about, it being a little too dark. So the part in the tunnels where you have to go outside, like on the ledge, right, and then like crawl and then like shimmy over the ledge and then jump. I didn't see, because it was dark on my TV. I didn't see where that ledge stopped. I thought it went all the way around to the next one. I just fucking ran right off the cliff, just full speed right off the cliff. And that was already that was after 20 minutes of pure frustration. And then I got to this point and I'm like, oh my god, he can't shoot me here. This is just a really cool cinematic zone that I get to run around on the side of the cliff and get there, and I just run and my dumb ass just jumps into the ravine.
What's funny is, like, most of the time when you hit a ledge, he'll be like, and like stops you from doing it. Is like making sure it's like, if you want to jump off this, you got to push me forward.
Oh no, my guy committed.
I'm so sorry.
No, fuck this fight, man. I'm out of here. I can't do this anymore.
Seriously.
Oh, fuck, dude. That's so funny.
God, it was so bad, man. It was so bad. And then, all right, any other comments about phase 1 before we move on?
Nope. Just one. I just want to take this moment to notate that, as frustrating as I find it generally, the ragdoll physics when you get hit were so appropriate in this final fight. Because, like, what I was talking about in that last stage where you have to go between those two wall barriers that are way too far apart and should never have been put in the game that way at all. And you get blasted against the wall. Dude, I felt his pain. Like, it's so fucking brutal to watch him ragdoll into that wall, bounce off of it in such a realistic manner, and just fall face first onto the ravine below. And just being I was like, dude, you're either dead or something is broken. Like, you're not coming back the same man from that hit.
Like, he's probably paralyzed. We're gonna have to climb. We're gonna have to just use our arms for the rest of the fight.
Like, he might have brain damage after that hit.
Yeah, it's a great physics engine with a ragdoll, and it's also a fantastic sleep sim, because after that you're laying there for at least 30 minutes.
Okay. Let's move on to the second phase of the fight. Before you go into what you want to talk about, I have one question for you, and I need you to tell me this before you say whatever you have to say. Did you fall off of Malice?
At any point and all the way back to the ground?
Well, I mean, all the way back to the ground, or like significantly down.
Okay, fall off of him? Yes, multiple times. All the way to the ground? Thank God, no, because I would have broken my controller.
Okay, go on.
I got lucky. What about you, John?
I fell off a couple times, actually. It was fucking bullshit. It's just, I mistimed the jump and the grab.
Nothing but depression here. Seriously. Like, this is all PTSD.
Cause like you get through the first phase and it's like, oh yeah, fuck you can't shoot me anymore. It's like, oh, this is easy street. Nope.
It's funny because, like, it's weird for me because I know what you're talking about. I went through all these same emotions and I was just as angry. But when I had to do the fight like 30 or 40 more times to complete the time trial and get it done basically perfectly, I came around on it to where, like, I've gotten past that. I pushed past the pain into this realm of like satisfaction with the boss. So like I can empathize with you, but I'm not there anymore.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you had. By the end of all of that, you developed some pretty healthy Stockholm syndrome. That's good to hear.
Okay, go on. What's wrong with the second phase of the fight, man?
I didn't fucking know you could just climb up the back of his skirt cathedral thing, whatever the fuck it was. So I was sitting there on the boot thinking, okay, how am I going to jump from this boot to these little ledges over here? And then one time I made the grave mistake of thinking maybe I have to go further out from under him on the ledge. And then I got blasted into oblivion, had to do it all over again. I thought it was going to be like, oh, because we've shown you this second cutscene, we actually soft saved here, and we're going to reload you back at the bottom of the feet. Nah, dude, I had to do all that over again. And guess what? I didn't do it perfectly then either. So I had to repeat the first phase over and over again until I eventually got back to the feet. And then I actually had to look up how to actually get onto him, because I don't know what it was. I know the stairs go right up to where the fuck you're supposed to jump onto him and climb, but I just couldn't see it until I was told how to do it. And that was another 20 minutes of me trying to figure out how the fuck to get this going. Oh, and then Dorman's dumbass, his hint at this point is the Colossus path will be the guide or something like that, right? He says something to the effect that, at least from the way that I interpreted it, that the Colossus was going to move, because I had never seen this before. It's my first time playing it. I thought, oh, cool, this Colossus is going to like be walking while I'm going up it, and maybe I have to do something to trigger it to start walking, and then my path will be clear, right? No, dumbass just stays still the whole time, waving his arms around. I still have no idea what the fuck Dorman was talking about at all. So that whole thing just frustrated the shit out of me.
Jesus.
Is that all?
I got more. No,
keep going.
I got
keep
more.
going, man.
I'm doing it in steps. Okay. Climbing up him wasn't that bad. That was actually very easy.
Oh, fuck.
Climbing up his like skirt or armor or whatever it is, that was super easy. That wasn't annoying at all. That was tedious more than anything else. And then stabbing his back when you get to the point. Okay, stabbed his back. Okay, hand comes down, and I got it. Okay. There's spur on the hand. Let's jump over to the hand. Brings his hand up. He starts looking at you, and I just can't get a hold on the hand or get in a position because he keeps flipping his hand back and forth. I run out of stamina. I fall back down to the skirt area. Rinse, repeat. I finally get in a position. I attack his arm. Now his bicep or whatever, and then he brings his other hand over. Okay, I get it. Jump over to the other hand. When I'm on the other hand, guys, I couldn't fucking figure out what to do. I was on that hand so many times, just like, what the fuck, what's the goal here? I was trying to jump from the hand to his face or something, and I fell so many fucking times and had to repeat this part so many times. I had to look that up. And then they're like, oh, just stab his hand. He'll turn it. It'll flatten out. And then you can use an arrow to hit his shoulder, and then he'll move his hand to his shoulder. I'm like, what is this? The fucking Macarena? This is ridiculous. So once I got on his dumbass shoulder, then it was smooth sailing, because you go to the top of his head. He moved a lot for sure, but I got like a quarter of his health down. My stamina got low, and then I went to his shoulder blades and just stood there until my stamina got back. He didn't try to fight me off or move when I just stood there, and I got all my stamina back, went back up to his head, took a little bit off, went back, refilled stamina. Like, that was it. That was easy. But getting up to that point was, such a grind. Yeah, such a grind.
Yeah. Dude, it took me fucking forever to figure out how to get that right hand to move.
Oh my God.
So
bad. I had to look it up. I had to. It was already so late. I'm like, fuck this. Like you win. You've gotten the better of me. What do I do? And I didn't see it. I don't know why I didn't see it. Like once you know it's there, it's obvious and you can see it, but I just didn't see it.
Also, getting enough stabs on his head is fucking awful.
Yeah.
Oh, you're lucky if you get like 1 or 2 before your stamina goes out. That's why I was happy that they made it easy to get your stamina back. I had no problems. I was just standing on his upper shoulders and he didn't move at all. So I just refilled all my stamina, jumped back on his head, and just it took a little bit longer than most Colossus, but it was fine. I don't know, and that's the story. That's it. Does anyone have anything else they want to add, or did I cover it all? I mean, that's
I think
you covered all the gripes of that. Yeah,
I don't think I could possibly add anything to that. Absolutely,
it's extremely cinematic. It is beautiful. His design is so incredible. And the design is so different than the other Colossus.
He's the only one that doesn't move.
Yeah. I mean,
but who needs to move when you're a sniper like that?
Yeah.
I mean, it was cinematically and conceptually, it is an incredible fight. But the mechanics of it are a grind. They really are an absolute grind. So,
well, I think what you mean to say is the mechanics of the game are a grind.
Yeah, and sure.
That is actually a perfect segue into what I want to talk about next, which is the mechanics themselves. Because I love the concept of Malice, of Dorman, of the Forbidden Lands, of this kind of like gray, overcast look that the entire world has. That there is this unbelievably long bridge to get over here, that there's this vast open world that's frankly bigger than some open worlds you'd find in a modern game. And this is a PS2 game. I love the idea that there's only 16 bosses and nothing else. That the game doesn't tell you fucking anything. You just have to figure it all out for yourself. What I don't like is playing it. Playing this game sucks.
Yes.
And so let me just preface this conversation like this. I found while playing this game that nothing really annoyed me more than aggro and how he just fucking doesn't do what I want him to. So sometimes he's like, you know what? I'm going right. The fuck are you going right for? Nobody told you to go right. I don't care. All right, jump over this bridge. No, I'm good. All right, let's go around it. No, I'm going to get stuck on this, actually. Come to find out, they designed him to do that shit on purpose.
Wait, what?
Because, and I quote, real horses don't always obey. Get the fuck out of here. You better train that horse better, bro.
I mean, they're right, but you have to balance realism with like an enjoyable experience, you know? That's why most horses in the game just kind of ride or die with you, you know? They're like, oh, we're going over this cliff. Yeet.
Yeet.
Aggro didn't go over shit. I think he only ever jumped like 5 feet down from a cliff one time. God forbid he, clipped a hoof or something. I didn't struggle as much as either of you did with aggro, to be honest with you. The most frustrating, because I learned pretty quick that holding triangle just got him wherever I needed to go. And also I learned that if you're in tight areas, he will just go himself. You don't have to control him. You don't have to touch the stick. If you just hold triangle through canyons or through woods or through like bridges, he just goes himself and navigates himself. So thankfully, I found that out by accident, and he wasn't too bad. There were definitely periods, like sometimes even just getting off of the fucking shrine is a goddamn challenge.
Oh my God,
but it wasn't like it was a pain point, but it was far from my highest pain point.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like aggro is not that bad. I mean, it's annoying, and I can't believe that they thought it was a good idea to program him to obnoxiously do whatever the fuck he feels like sometimes. But even still, Aggro is not my biggest problem. Now, our favorite little idiot, he's a big problem that I have. Because this little motherfucker, man, if I had $1 for every time I was like, all right, let me just jump from this part of the Colossus over there, we'll grab his fur, and we'll just keep going. And he's like, yeet, and goes the totally wrong way. Falls all the way to the ground, and I have to do it again.
You'd be a millionaire by now.
Bro, climbing up the temple after you get enough stamina is one of the worst things ever. It's fucking awful.
I'm so sorry.
I had maximum stamina and I barely made it because
Jesus Christ.
Because this little motherfucker, like, he's just like, well, I don't feel like going over. You know what? Instead of just going right and grabbing this ledge so we can keep climbing, I'm gonna lift my legs up and I'm gonna turn upside down like I'm a fucking spider. I'm like, no, don't do that. Maybe
let's not do that.
All right. It's fine. It's fine. We're on the ledge. It's gonna be fine. Let's just so we're at the edge here. I need you to just make a little tiny jump just to the right and grab these vines so we can keep on going. Yeet! Oh, you're gonna fall to your death. Cool. Well, that's 20 minutes of my life I'll never get back. That's cool.
Dude, and like, that's the thing, is like, it takes so long to get back. So long.
Everything is like slow and everything is janky, from the AI to the mechanics. Just everything. It's so fucking jank, dude. It's on purpose. To their credit, it's not like they can't design a game. They do this shit on purpose. But I'm left with this nagging question of whether or not it is a good idea, because what I'm not questioning is the fact that it's just not fun. Like, there's so much I love about this game, but it's just not fun to play.
I disagree. I had a really good time until Malice. And I would say mechanically the thing that I struggle with most was jumping. So because of the camera angle, because of just the nature of clinging on to a moving creature, it was so hard if I had to jump from one area to another to put the stick in the direction of him launching off in the way that I wanted to go.
Yeah.
I definitely experienced this with Malice. I experienced it a lot more too with other Colossus that require you to jump from like arms to chest or, yada yada. But I mean, I had fun, and maybe doing the time attack just really soured you. But just a single playthrough of the game on normal, I feel like
I was soured long before that.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You really adopted the sour. But I think I played it the best way you can play it. Play it on normal. Don't do time attack bullshit. Enjoy it for the cinematics. Enjoy it for the actual puzzles that the Colossuses that the Colossi provide you, and just suffer through Malice until the end, and you'll get a relative payoff. I think for the time, the ending of this game was very original. Now it's not necessarily so original, but for the time that it was originally created, it was very, very unique. Ultimately, I mean, I had a blast. I did. I still had a lot of fun.
I do want to say the time attack I actually enjoyed more than the main game.
Really?
Yeah, like really having to, because I think the most compelling part of the game, other than the mystery of the plot the first time that you play through it, is the puzzle of each Colossus. And time attack forces you to look at the Colossus not only in literally how to defeat it, but how to do that the most optimal way possible.
Oh yeah.
And so for that reason, I found that doing the time attacks, and especially not having to like walk aggro's dumbass all the way across this giant world to find each
Good
Colossus.
lord.
Yeah, I mean not literally walk it unless you're John, but um
Fuck you.
um I think that really elevated the game as a whole for me. There are a lot of things that really frustrate me about the game. Um and I think that it's just gameplay is so important to me that I think that those frustrations that I have with the mechanics and how the game controls, and like you were saying, like getting him to jump in the right direction because of the way that the camera's so cinematic, um, makes it hard for me to love this game. But I think it is worth noting that I've beaten the game 3 times and grinded out for hours upon hours to max out my stats, and I'm still going to play it an additional 2 times so I can get the platinum trophy. I think that says a lot about the game
Yeah.
and its merits, because I'm not one to continue to play a game that frustrates me as much as this game did. And yet,
Yeah.
here I am.
Well, I hope you enjoy your digital trophy.
I always do, Jordan. I always do.
He's gonna post that shit so hard. He's just gonna spam your text messages with all that trophy goodness, flexing his peen all over you.
So now that we've talked about the worst part of the game, Dean, do you have anything else you want to bring up before we talk about the end?
Nope. I was gonna shift into the ending myself.
All right, let's go. So, um, I'll kick it off. I kind of figured what the ending was going to be like from the very beginning. I was like, okay, obviously Dorman's using him, and something's going to happen that's not going to resurrect Mono. Is that
Yep.
her name?
Yep.
Mono. Yep.
Mono.
Yeah, that's not going to resurrect her. He's going to get screwed somehow, and those other people on horseback are coming to stop him from making a mistake. Like I figured all that shit out. The ending was nowhere near a surprise to me at all. Um, like I mentioned before, in 2005, it would have been a hell of an ending, something that would have really surprised probably a lot of people. But now in 2021, we've definitely seen games and we've seen narratives that have pulled from this type of influence too much to be shocked. The one part that did get me was that Mono actually was resurrected. I didn't think they were going to do that. I thought there was going to be like full black ending. No one gets what they want. Everything is screwed. Mono just lays there dead, and it pans out. I thought that was going to be the ending, but
No,
turns
the
out
best,
she's alive. I thought that was pretty
the
cool.
best. I
Mhm.
think the best ending would have been if, like, yeah, Mono didn't get resurrected, and then Aggro comes back as a zombie and starts eating her body.
Oh God, but that's a little too much. I would have been like traumatized at that point. So like it was nice to see Aggro come back. However, a horse with that kind of injury usually doesn't last long. So I don't know.
Well,
It's kind of
officially, he
bittersweet.
just sprained his ankle,
I hope so.
which is
Glue
the most
factory.
fucking ridiculous comment. This dude fell into the black abyss. That horse would be dead. Forget. But
Yep.
and he came
Long
out with
dead.
only a sprained ankle, and only one ankle too. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
fine, whatever. But
yeah, I agree.
But to your point, when you think about it, isn't this the worst possible ending? Because when you think about it, he brought back Mono, right? But he brought back Mono in the Forbidden Lands where there's nothing to eat. She has no weapon. There's nobody else there except for this new infant that she has to also care for. There's no way out. And presumably Dorman is still there fucking around doing whatever he's doing. God forbid he gets out again. This is like the most unimaginably bad situation that this poor girl could be in.
If if it ended with her picking the child up and then it went to black screen, I would totally agree with you. But Aggro leading her to the top and the roof of the shrine, and then seeing the deer, the only other, like the Garden of Eden, it kind of seems like, but like seeing a deer and seeing like the birds and everything, like that was symbolism saying, oh, they're going to be all right, they're going to get food, they're going to be fine. Like that's how I took that.
I'm glad you said that.
As the developers, saying, hey.
Here's the big psych moment, though. When you get enough stamina and you climb into that garden, that fruit is poison.
Wait, what?
The fruit up there at the top of the temple in the garden is poison. If you eat it, it takes away your health and stamina.
Permanently?
Permanently.
What?
It permanently decreases your bar so that you have less.
That's so stupid. Why would they do that?
I never even knew that.
Oh, the forbidden fruit? The forbidden fruit? Yes. Actually, your Garden of Eden comment is totally hitting the nail on the head with that one.
Yeah. I actually didn't even know about the fruit. That's kind of fucked, but
I mean, you think about it, like, okay, they're a deer, but what's she gonna do? Kill the deer with her bare hands? I mean, maybe when she gets hungry enough, but yikes.
I mean, I saw that as I saw the ending all as symbolism to mean there is hope for her. It's not utter dismay,
despair.
Yeah. Like there is hope. If it would have ended, like I mentioned, with her just picking the child up in that cold, dead sanctuary now, then yeah, that would be some fucked shit. And I kind of wish they did that. But I love tragedy. Like I love tragic endings. So this one really hit home for me, and it was beautiful. It was badass being able to control Dorman for that brief moment.
Mm-hmm. Smacking him around.
Yeah. I kind of wish, to be honest, in those last 5 minutes, depending on how well you controlled Dorman or how well you fought back against the power sucking you into the well, that you could control multiple endings. Right? Like what if as Dorman you could control him, and if you could do it, if you were good enough, you could actually kill Imam. Is it Imam? What's his name?
Iman.
Yeah, Iman. You could actually kill Imam, thus preventing him from ever sealing Dorman, and then that's the ending of the game. You're
breaks through the temple and starts destroying the earth.
Yeah, you're
he sounds so excited about it.
That would have been really cool. Like that would have been super cool. Or maybe if Wander fought against that power sucking him into the well somehow, I don't know. Then
what I was gonna say is, like, you didn't do the Mario trying to escape, like just jumping away from the power sucking as best you could.
I mean, I tried everything, but ultimately it took me. So like if you could, if you could stop that, and maybe like all the evil or darkness is sucked out of you because it's really trying to bring Dorman in, and maybe you're healed and you go back to Mono, and then she actually comes back alive, and then it's just you and her and Aggro that have to survive. Like, I don't know. These are just ideas spinning off my head, but ultimately I like the ending. Was it worth 7 hours and the frustration of Malice? Sure. It didn't blow me away, right. But it was nice. It was a cool ending. It was daring for the time. I enjoyed it. I mean, Dorman, for being like every one of those Colossus, literally would have fucked them up. And you're telling me that Dorman, all 16 now,
couldn't take them out? Yeah,
couldn't do shit. Like,
that's what I mean. Like, it's just like, oh, they had to split you up into 16 parts, and this is what you are as a whole. You suck. You're whatevers. You're overrated. Bring back Malice.
Yeah, but that's my take on the end.
So here's an alternate theory of the end. So we know from Shadow of the Colossus that Mono was killed because she supposedly had like a dark future. I forget how they describe
Cursed fate.
Cursed fate. Thank you.
Was she a sacrifice?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
And with that in mind, there's this ongoing theory of the game that, like we were talking about way back at the beginning of the show, that Shadow of the Colossus is a prequel to Ico. And in Ico, there is a protagonist boy who has little horns, just like Wander gets when he's reborn as an infant. And the villain of that game is this shadowy female figure known as the Queen. So the theory is that when Dorman brought Mono back to life, he did so and gave her some form of immortality. And as time goes on, she just kind of loses her mind and becomes the evil queen. Also, the queen sword that you get for beating the hard time trials in Shadow of the Colossus is the same sword from Ico, albeit more vibrant in Shadow of the Colossus than in Ico, which seems to suggest that it is older and less powerful in the first game, which is actually the second game. Doesn't matter. You get the point.
Yeah, I get what you're talking about. I get what you're trying to say.
That's awesome. I've
That
never
is
played
pretty
Ico,
cool.
so I don't really have a reference, but I mean, it sounds cool.
Yeah.
Is Ico worth playing?
I honestly don't remember.
Okay.
When did Ico
So that's
come
it.
out?
I've always just seen it as like a platformer, like just a artsy kind of platformer.
Yeah, kind of. Let's see.
Oh,
Ico came
what
out in 2001.
didn't the last wait, hold on.
The Last Guardian?
That's another one from this studio, right?
Yeah.
That came out for the PS4.
Yes, sir.
How was that one?
So I haven't played
You played
it,
that?
although it is on the Instant Game Collection, so I do own it, although I owned it before that. But regardless, I do own it. I haven't played it, but reviews were
Oh, it is pronounced Eco.
less than favorable. Oh, it is Eco.
I went on the wiki and it's pronounced Eco.
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 Yeah, I've heard it said both ways, so I can never remember which one it's supposed to be. But regardless, yeah, I couldn't really tell you if Eco's particularly good. I know that it has a lot of fans, but The Last Guardian does not.
Really?
Yeah, people are pretty down on Last Guardian,
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
which might have something to do with the fact that it took them something like 11 years to make that game, but who knows? I mean, it's also apparently the big thing with The Last Guardian. It's kind of like dealing with the jank and the fuckery of aggro, but that's like the whole game. So
Yeah.
I mean, there is that.
Gross.
Well, I think you know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for everybody's favorite segment, What's in Jordan's Notes?
Hey everyone, thanks for playing. We're going to go through my notes here. We pretty much hit all of them. I'll be perfectly honest. When we talked about a Colossus, you know what? Actually, this is a good opportunity. Let's talk about Colossus that we haven't mentioned yet.
Okay.
So let's talk about, I'll just go in order here of ones that we haven't talked about. Quadratus, the second one that you fight on the beach.
Yeah, that guy was easy.
Yeah, it was easy. Yeah, let's moving on. Next one. Next one, Fedra. That was the dragon that you had to trick into looking into the little like hobbit hole, and then you jump on its tail from behind.
Oh yeah.
That took me so long to figure that one out.
Yeah, to figure out. Yeah.
What took me a long time
might help.
Yeah, what took me a long time was just getting him into that position and having him do it. But I thought his design was actually really cool. I thought design-wise, super cool dragon-like Colossus. Next one, Hydrus. The first one that you experience any type of elemental mechanics.
Oh yeah, that one was kind of a pain in the ass.
First one that can blow me. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah, that one was middling at best. I agree. Korumari, which was the croc that like walked in the walls and everything.
The lizard one. Yeah.
I overthought the shit out of that. I thought that I had to get it to like walk over the like walk on the walls, and then I had to be where its stomach was exposed, and then strike from the
inside the bars,
inside the bar. Yeah, like dude, my God, I wasted so much time. And then when I realized, go ahead. I was just gonna say, John.
That seems inappropriate, but so nice.
What's funny is like there's two ways to knock him off onto the ground. One, you shoot you can either shoot the sigil under its belly if you see it, or just shoot its legs.
Oh my God. I thought that's just the legs. It's like once I learned that, he was a goddamn punk. Like it was easy. But I overthought him.
Area.
He's easily the easiest boss in my opinion. Like he's so fucking easy. Like I jumped down. Like I ran into the little Colosseum that he inhabits, jumped down immediately into the center, shot his legs, killed him in like 30 seconds. And then apparently there's a trophy for killing him before he flips back over. I was like, he can flip back over?
Stupid. Wait, what? He doesn't have to climb on something for him to flip over?
No, like he climbed up the walls and I shot him down and then just stabbed him in the stomach.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Well, definitely quicker than I did it, for sure. The only other one that we actually haven't really talked about is Zenobia, which is the one where you have to arduously have him knock all the fucking pillars over and over again, and then finally
leading him to one specific area.
Yeah, and I found out by mistake that you're supposed to taunt him into hitting the pillar and the roof collapsing on him. I was just on top of the roof, like, what am I? He's like walking away from me. I'm like, what the fuck? So I just shot him, climbed up there, and I got lucky, and he smashed into the pillar and it broke his armor. And then I had to ride on him for 10 minutes until I can get enough hits in to kill him. But that's actually it. We've talked about all 16 now.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Beautiful game. Final thoughts. I'll go. Beautiful game. Really cinematic. It's nice seeing where influences or where other games that I've played and really enjoyed have gained an influence from this one. And I probably will never play it again. I paid $20 on the PlayStation Store to play it.
Yeah.
But it was worth the 20. Like it's definitely
it really was.
Yeah, $20 is the perfect price point. Dean, did this come out as a full price game?
I believe when it came out it was $40.
Okay, so not
the $20 price tag is PlayStation best games or like greatest hits, whatever.
I think 20 is perfect. If I paid 40 for it, I'd be pretty salty. But
yeah.
And I'm sure you can catch this on sale for like $5 probably on the PlayStation Store sometimes. That's usually what they do.
Yeah, it was $40 when it came out.
Yeah. So awesome game. Loved it. Frustrating at times. Fuck Malice. John, what do you think?
Straight up, like, I had an enjoyable experience. Just have a little more detail when it comes to certain controls. Like, first off, say hold the triangle button to make the horse run faster. That would have helped. Just one word. That's fine. Not press. Jesus Christ. Also, the whole dive attack would have been very useful as well. I would have loved that.
Oh my god, I would have loved that too.
Right? But everything else, like, no, I enjoyed the experience. Like, it was hella frustrating. Fix the fucking AI on Solosia, that one cat bitch.
Go down to my notes. Solosia, yeah. You were right.
Yeah, that when you get straight up death trapped because it doesn't back off enough, that is the most annoying thing I've ever experienced in my life. Also, the whole nap timer that you were just hitting on the head, like that is the perfect way to describe what happens after you get
literally
hit.
Takes a nap. Literally, you can put the controller down and take a piss.
Yeah. It's pretty... that's probably the worst like knockdown animation that I've dealt with thus far. It's just like, oh yeah, he's just getting up. And like literally, just like you said, I was like smashing buttons. I was like, is this gonna make him get up? I don't know, but I feel like it's gonna help. But thoroughly enjoyed the game. Really gorgeous visuals riding through this vast world. And speaking of which, like, this is only like technically a section of the world that they're in because it's the Forbidden Lands and the bridge connects to the other part. But yeah, it was really good.
I like how
and the fact that go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's Iman at the end was super confident that no one else could come back to this point. I'm like, bro, just you can't rappel off of that cliff with some rope, like like there's no other way here, really? No other way besides this incredibly just dumb bridge that I don't think ever would structurally... I'd be surprised if that actually is a real structure, like if that could structurally work. It's not intuitive, right? It's one of those things that it's very unintuitive by how by how it's built, that it wouldn't actually stand.
But I don't know, like the bridge would have to give way more, and like the arches would have to be just gigantic.
Well, I just feel like, they're all half arches, so like an arch itself is a almost perfect structural shape. But they're all half arches leaning on one another. So that means that the very first one connected to the shrine is bearing what I would assume is the load of the weight, unless there's some like weird physics thing where actually it kind of works still, right? There's always these little caveats. I don't know. I'm not an engineer, so I don't know.
The big problem for me with this bridge is if you look at it, the bricks that make up each of the pillars don't, like, there's no... If they were supporting any real weight, it would all fall apart. Because at best, there's some mortar that's holding them to each other, but like it's pushing down at the opposite angle. Like, this bridge makes no sense.
There is a subreddit, actually one of my favorite subreddits, called They Did the Math. And someone asks, would the Shadow of the Colossus bridge be sound? And the top post on this was, I wouldn't do... the top post says, I won't do the math, but I can tell you there are several problems with the bridge that will cause it to collapse. One, it's too thin, especially for stone, and is liable to fall over sideways. Two, the arches' bases are pillars, and there are no arches facing the other way, so the force would be unbalanced, and the base would push over. Three, the walkway is too thin to support its own weight, much less any load. 4, the small pillars on the top of each arc put pressure on the middle of the arc and nowhere else. Arches work by having a force around the entire arc, so it's basically just going to break through it because it's pushing directly down in a very unstable spot of an arc. And 5, all the arcs are facing the same way, so all the load gets added, which each additional arc, all of that load is being placed on the thin walkway I mentioned earlier. TLDR, no. So yeah, I trust this guy. No, that shit would fall over immediately. But it looks beautiful.
It all makes sense to me. But yeah, it's an awesome design to look at. But yeah, it's an awesome design to look at because I think your brain just kind of inherently knows that it's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
So one last question that I wanted to ask you guys before we sign off for this week is, did you guys do any exploring of the world, or did you just kind of go from Colossus to Colossus and finish the game?
I went straight as a crow flies to every one of them. I feel like I explored. I feel like going straight to each Colossus, you got to explore the vast majority. Like I had no desire. Like I had no desire to like go around every aspect, see every wall, every cliff, all that kind of stuff. And I would in a normal RPG if there were actual reasons, like tangible reasons to do so. But this game had no tangible reasons to let me do it, and I felt that I got a good enough exposure to the world and to the design, and I really appreciated what they did. A lot of the transitions into large open deserts or large open lakes or lake beds or fields or forests, like they were done beautifully. Sometimes awe-inspiring. Like I remember on Argus when you first go through those like castle walls and it opens up that huge corridor with the overarching bridges and you just have to walk down the entire thing to the end. Awe-inspiring moment because of the size of it. Mentioned earlier in the podcast, the first time that you actually stand on the side of the bridge and look down and see the enormity that is that whole bridge, awe-inspiring. The going over the bridge that goes over the river and seeing all of the waterfalls and everything kind of close to the shrine, to like the northeast of the shrine, awe-inspiring as well. Like it's an absolute beautiful topography, but not one that I wanted to walk around every nook and fucking cranny just because it impressed me that much.
Okay.
Long-winded way of saying no.
John.
I mean, is there something that we missed, Dean? Like, is there like, were you leading to something? Like, is there like a really cool area that you don't normally go to?
Well, not really. The reason that I was asking that was because your playtimes were so much longer. I was curious if that playtime came from unfamiliarity with the game, trying to figure out how to beat certain Colossus.
What was your first
if you were
playtime?
exploring. On my very first playthrough on PS2, I have no fucking idea. This time playing through it, I got through the game in about, it was just under 6 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
that's about right.
Maybe like I was right at 7. Maybe some of your past experience with the game kind of helped you a little bit more, but I mean, I was just straight Colossus and back, Colossus and back, Colossus and back, and any extra time was just figuring mechanics out or dealing with Colossus battles.
Well, it's worth noting that, and I just want to preface this by saying that, like, I'm not bragging or anything, because you're right that
Sure.
there were certain Colossi that I remembered how to fight, which certainly helped me. But like, I also went around and went to every shrine in the game, which there's fucking 25 of them, and some of them are in totally impractical and frankly stupid places that serve no purpose whatsoever.
Honestly, like,
so that was like another
the shrines
2
weren't even that
hours.
useful.
Yeah, no, they're not really.
I didn't use them at all. I never used one.
Exactly. It's like, oh, I like went to the shrine and prayed, and I was like, maybe I need to regen my health after the Colossus. Like, no, actually, when you get back here, everything's back to full.
Yep. Which, yeah, I mean, like, I can't tell you why there's so many shrines or why they are where they are or any of that. The only reason that I even did that is because there's a trophy for it. And I mean, like, that's kind of what I mean when I say that, like, going for trophies lets me experience games in a different way. I would have never fucking done that if there was no trophy for it. But fuck you. I'm not going to spend 2 hours riding around this world with this dumbass horse that goes left when I say go right sometimes just because he can. But because I did that, I saw basically the entire world, and there's a lot of it that you will never see if you just go from Colossus to Colossus. But there's also nothing in it. Like maybe you come across a fruit tree to increase your health, which frankly isn't really all that necessary. Maybe you come across some lizards that'll increase your stamina by an unbelievably small amount. But other than that, it's just kind of seeing the sights. And there's something to be said from an artistic perspective about that, but from being a game, it's just kind of pointless. But yeah, I mean, like that was another probably 2 hours I tacked onto my game time because I did that because it's so vast. So I mean, like if you subtract that out, it probably took me somewhere around 4 hours to beat the game. And I mean, like John, the fact that you didn't even know how to run with aggro makes sense why it would take you twice as long. But um, I don't know. I don't know. I was just curious because, like, I'm doing the mental math in my head, and I'm like, did my prior knowledge of certain things in the game help me that much? I don't know. I don't know. It's just interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And as you stated, like, yeah, I just went from Colossus to Colossus.
8 hours going Colossus to Colossus, man. That's
trotting from Colossus to Colossus. Like honestly, there was a point where I was just like, "Fuck this horse," and I was about to get off. Just walk.
I never figured out what Jordan was talking about. How he'll just kind of guide himself through the woods and shit. So like when you have to go through the woods to get to that desert area and shit, I just got off him. I was like, "Fuck it, I'm walking. Fuck this."
Well, I figured that out because he was being so fucking obnoxious going through the woods. And I'm like, okay, I was thinking about it and I'm like, this feels like I'm fighting against an auto run. So like Witcher 3 has it, Ghost of Tsushima has it sometimes. Like it feels like I'm fighting against the horse wanting to be on rails. So then at a certain point, I'm like, you know what? Fine. I just held triangle, and sure enough, in tight spaces, in like canyons, corridors, bridges, like things like that, he navigates himself. Now he's not going to navigate himself if you're like open terrain and go where you want him to go. But if it's tight corridors, he just goes himself. When I figured that out, my life was made significantly easier because I'm not battling, the tightrope that is some of these fucking bridges over miles. It feels like, and he just goes at full speed, mind you, just cutting corners and just like ducking and weaving. I'm like, Jesus, calm down, Secretariat. So yes, that made my life a lot easier.
All right. Well, do you guys have any final thoughts before we wrap up for this week?
We gonna rate it?
Hey, let's do a rating. Sure. What do you got, Jordan? What would you give Shadow of the Colossus?
I'm gonna give it a. I'm gonna give it 26 auto-targeted blasts from Malice out of 10.
Okay.
Oh my god.
What about you, John?
I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 aggros.
4 out of 5 aggros. Okay.
4 out of 5 aggros. Because one of them fell into a ravine.
Oh shit.
Fucking shit.
I think I would give this game 2 immensely frustrating boss fights out of aggro. As always, before we go, remember that you can catch the show live every week on Twitch, an entire week before it goes live on all other feeds, as well as submit your questions and comments for us to read live on the show. If you're listening to this after the fact, follow us and leave us a review on your service of choice. And don't forget that you can chat with us anytime over in our Discord server. You can find all the relevant links below. And as always, have fun out there, guys.